Okay, for a third time,
Hey guys, welcome back.
he's Captain Foley,
I am, and you're Commander Cockings.
and do go back and watch our spoiler-free review and our spoiler-filled review. This is our everything review. We take all the stops for this one. Let's see how the audio.
He's going to test audio now. So welcome guys. Today we're talking about the episode Absolute Candor, and hopefully we will have absolute candor discussing it, because no filter between our emotions and what we say. That's kind of the point. Zeraxis says review all the things. Yes, we will.
And thank you to everyone who's a member of the Trekyards channel who's joining us today. All of their logos are visible, so thanks. Hi everyone.
Yeah, and I changed it, eh? So you're a new member, you get the Trekyards medical badge, because you start off as a nurse. And then after you're here for a while, you go up to engineer, then up to sciences, then finally command. And then after that, there's some special ones, research division and stuff that, the longer you're here, the more your badge will change, and we can see how long you've been here. So anyway, guys, yeah, if you want to join, become a member, get an instant rank, either commander, captain, or admiral, just click the join button down beside the subscribe button. And Sergeant Roadkill says, how do we join the channel? Like I said, if you're on PC, it's a join button right beside the subscribe button. If you're on mobile, just hit your super chat button, and it'll come up at the bottom as join, as you can see there, as he's pointing to, and then you get to select whichever tier you want, and that's how you join the channel. So, yeah, some goodies there. You're muted, Samuel.
It's great. We do rely on fan support to keep us going, and each little tiers, like as we have Patreon, we have direct donations, we have super chats. Each one put together allows us to be confident to keep going. It's great.
Ooh, and I changed 2 of the emojis, so now there's a Captain Foley emoji and a Commander Cockings emoji. Here, let me put them in so you can see them.
That is amazing. Probably.
Yes. So Foley is one right there, and also
wow.
And there is the commander as well. He is right there. So
and Sergeant Roadkill says, if you can only afford Patreon or join the channel, which would you guys prefer? That is a really great question.
Honestly, probably Patreon, because I think we get more of that money.
Yeah, I think Patreon takes less. Yeah.
And Zeraxis, are the emojis on Discord yet? No, I don't know how to add emojis to Discord. So
I have nothing about Discord. That's totally out of my expertise, personally.
Yeah. So I don't know much about it either. You're lucky to get this, because I'm not tech savvy, but I spent some time and made up the emojis and stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoy them.
Okay, so I'm going to share this around so our wonderful audience can come and join. We tend to get between sort of 200 to 400 people. It sort of obviously fluctuates throughout the live, but I'd love to see 300 people join. Hopefully.
And make sure you hit the like button. There's 106 of you here now, so hit the like button. Let's get the likes up through the roof as we start.
Yes. Have that like spike as people keep talking about.
That's right. Like spikes are important. So yeah, guys, you can help us by sending a super chat, getting your voice heard, your question answered on this particular episode. We do have to talk about your super chats. So if you want to kind of steer the conversation, you can do so that way, or head on over to our Patreon, Patreon/Trekyards. Join us on a monthly basis there, or like I said, hit the join button. The join button's fun for YouTube. So if when we say either Patreon or the join button's a little more fun, I think, because you get the badges and stuff beside your name. You get call outs in the videos because we see your special. You get a special color and a special badge as well. Plus, you can use the emojis and stuff during the chat. So it's something that's people might be interested in. So check it out if you can. If you can join, please do. We'd love to add to the ranks. Plus, you can be a commander right away, be the same rank as Commander Cockings, or you can become a captain, outrank Commander Cockings, be the same rank as me, or you can even outrank me and become an admiral, and you get some different bonuses and cool stuff as a result of doing that. So. Some kind of echo on the background and video is lagging, says Eugene. Okay, well, I'll have to chat with Samuel about that. Might be an issue with his internet. I don't know what's up with that specifically, but we will look into it when he comes back. We already have some super chats already, so that's great. We'll read those off once Samuel gets back. Semi-time loop in the chat. I don't know what's going on there, but we'll hopefully get it sorted. Apparently, Samuel, we got some video issues, and there's an echo in the background, and the video is lagging, says Eugene. So I don't know what that might be, and you're muted again. I can't hear you.
Probably because I was sharing it and watching it because I got the link. So I mean, the more internet you use. Well, I've lowered the thing. Let's go off other internet things. Not that there's that many.
Interaxa says the audio of Stuart is repeating, delayed by a few seconds in the video.
No, that's gone now, don't worry.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You have dropped frames in the video, but the quality is still clear nonetheless. Yeah, I think we fixed it now. There you go.
I just turned off all my other internet things. I mean, things, well, it's shifting a little bit, but I mean, we can't really control that.
Everything.
Yeah.
And considering how many we do, I have no issue with one or two messing up, because it does happen, so.
Yeah, well, let me just make sure the stream goes.
Well, Zeraxa says it's good now. It seems to have stopped, so.
Yeah.
Would love to join, but the feature isn't on my phone. Just hit the super chat icon. There's a little $sign. Hit that. It's the very last one, because there's super chat, stickers. So super chat, then stickers, then join. Click the join, Damien.
It's being hidden in plain sight.
Yes. Mobile devices are different, so.
It would be useful if they had two buttons, but I mean, they have limited space. And most people aren't going to join a channel, so it's kind of, a very small percentage of users. But hopefully, guys, you guys have gone and watched our spoiler-filled and spoiler-free review. We've given us an interesting look at. I'm definitely interested to hear you guys' thoughts. I mean, as you guys know, I try and stay away from other people's opinions. Stuart's the only one I go to next to see what it is. So I don't even know if he'll like this episode or not, except what Stuart thinks. Obviously, we've already discussed this.
Hold on. Somebody's just said that they don't think it's available on iOS yet, just on Android. I'm going to go check real quick.
That doesn't sound very likely, given that half of the users...
It doesn't. Let me just check here.
And someone's saying yours was... I mean, currently you're at -9. I keep trying to adjust it, but I mean, that's as low as you could possibly... Oh, yeah, I was going to do the Audacity trick. On mine, it just says super sticker and super chat. There is no option for join. But it could be because I'm logged into the Trekyards thing here. That's likely.
Let me just change it over to my Captain Foley personal account and try again. And I can hardly hear you, Samuel, now.
You can hardly hear me?
Yeah, you just went super quiet for me.
How am I now?
Same.
Oh, yeah, okay. See, literally...
There you go.
Literally, the way Skype and the other thing interact is absurd. It's very strange.
Let's see here. No, same thing. I'm assigned to my Captain Foley thing. It doesn't even have it there. Just got the super stickers and the super chat. So you might not be able to do it from an iOS device, which is weird.
Then just super chat instead.
Yeah, or just... You can do it on any of our videos. So when you get back to your PC, just watch a video and click the join button. But anyway, we got a few super chats that we're going to read off right off the hop. The first one is Voice of Reason, £2, and it just gives the live long and prosper sign. So live long and prosper. There you go. Eugene, 250 rubles. Solid episode. Good parts are better. Bad parts are worse. It's a good summation. Good summation. Squadra Course puts in $1.99. Hi all. First super chat? Question mark. Are you asking us if you're the first super chat? Because you're not.
Almost the first super chat.
Yes.
Almost is still pretty good. Thank you anyway.
Yes. Squadra Course puts in another $1.99. Curses. Foiled again. And Thomas Simonson puts in $1.99 as well. Feels like diversion. Feels like diversion or planet of the week already. Yeah, it's definitely a side quest episode, as I like to put it. So, Joseph Petrick, €2. Going to ask my wife to tie her quest to my sword. It's dirty, but I love it. SWTX Chaser is now a commander. So welcome to the ranks of Trekyards. Welcome, Commander.
Now you're the same rank as me.
Yeah,
and you get 6 years doing this. Okay.
You started out as commander though, so.
That's true. But thank you.
So yeah,
that is amazing. Thank you.
SWTX Chaser, now your badge will change after a certain amount of time, and you'll be able to use all the emojis that are available for the chat. So look them up, use them, have some fun with them. Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99. Very good, 67 likes already. Yee, again at 100. And Zeraxis, $5. Zeraxis, you're amazing. One of two, so there's going to be another one coming in a minute. Seen a bit of negativity around this one. Personally, I liked it. I thought the environment was nice, and the reactions of the Romulans made sense. The environment was okay. I didn't really enjoy the little town thing, but
you know the problem with saying I saw some negativity. Each episode has people like it and don't like it. You know, we're consistent that we always are honest every time.
Yeah.
You know, that's our most important thing. And you know, in all of our comments, every episode we see people that agree with you, agree with me. So it's kind of hard to. I wouldn't say this episode. I think this episode honestly has more people say it's meh, like a neutral. I think, you know, from what I saw on non-spoiler, more people seem to agree with our medium than often either you or me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm desperately trying to do audio here, guys, but I mean, Stuart just will not lower, irrespective of the system. I mean, I'm absolute max. He's at basically nothing. I
push my microphone further away.
I mean, that's yeah. Because I mean, guys, it doesn't work. I mean, if you look at my system, you know, we try and it always resets. It's very frustrating.
It is frustrating. Zeraxis puts in $5, and this is message 2 of 2. The 7 reveal was fairly predictable, but I liked the space battle, although I do wish the shots had been slightly a tiny bit slower, 8 out of 10. Yeah, I agree with that. The motion blur and everything was insane, and you really got no feel for like Seven's ship, anything like that. Any of the screen grabs we got were very motion blurred. So yeah, I totally agree with that. But I did enjoy the battle overall. It was interesting.
And as you know, I think it's one of the worst space battles in Trek.
Yes, I know.
But it's not for its lack of trying. It's just for they obviously ran out of budget and didn't, you know. And you know, it's tricky.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tricky. As I've said before, this episode feels like they rushed a few things after padding other things. The whole pace of the season is incredibly inconsistent. I think it's already suffering from the rewrites of turning 2 episodes into 3, which then shifts the story in the other 7 into 6, or other 8 into 7, and what do you cut out? But you keep this entire introduction of this guy. Like, the introduction of this character, new character, feels like episode 1 and 2 slow. But then suddenly the end feels like an actual quick, they've lost a balance somewhere. And I hope they re-get it in the next episode. But yeah, we'll see.
Zeraxis says, and this is another good thing about joining the channel. Your things are visible, and you get call-outs for every video. So if you have something important to say, since you're doing a monthly thing for joining the channel, we'll read those as well as super chats if we can. We won't get to all of them, but we'll get to some good ones. But Zeraxis says, I got a good feeling about of the size of the hero ship and the bird of prey, but no idea about Seven's ship. Well, Seven's ship, I think, is just a small single kind of fighter vibe.
Oh yeah.
At least that's the vibe I got with it.
It's like a runabout sized fighter shuttle. I mean, we weren't meant to be given a good look of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just a thing to get it from A to B.
And Matt Deckard said Stuart had a long night with a Delton girl and another stream. Yeah, I was on Sci-Fi Nation's stream for like 2 hours before this as well. So
what did you talk about? Matt, was that Picard as well? Have you just been talking about Picard all day?
No, they went all over the place, talked about everything. And Matt, it was great to finally kind of chat with Matt in person. He's commented quite a lot over the years, and I watch his stuff on Facebook. So great seeing you. If you can join the channel, please do. It would be great to have you.
And Squad of course says, do we finally have a cannon fighter? Well, we already had a cannon fighter in DS9, the Peregrine, and we had a cannon fighter, the Breen fighter, in DS9. We also had, obviously, the fighters in Star Trek Discovery, although we sort of ignore those, both for the Raoul, piloted by Saru's people. But I remember the Raoul. I remember that name. And the Federation fighters, which we've seen that look absurd, thanks to Eagle Moss. Good stuff, good stuff. I'm just going to grab my other monster from the fridge. I basically ran out of that a bit quick.
Okay. Zeraxis says 100-year-olds are not presumably it's been upgraded over time, and realistically, a civilian ship even upgraded versus what at one time was a high-end warship, it still makes sense for it to be dangerous. Yeah, but we filmed a video about it today, which will be released soon on Saturday, I believe, where we talk about the fact that it's very likely upgraded with new weapons, new shielding systems, possibly new hull armor, even though the hull armor does appear to be quite old compared to, considering that the La Serena can actually like slice through this the strut. God, I've been talking too much today. Zaraxis, Scorpion Fighter, Breen Fighter, Peregrine are all canon, and yeah.
And none actually effective. And the Peregrines are closest, and that's actually a rather large fighter. It fires torpedoes and pulse phasers, and they get destroyed effortlessly.
And
never a good idea.
Dystopian guy says disco shuttles everywhere. What did I send you last night, Samuel, in Messenger? And shuttles. Discovery shuttles everywhere. That's exactly what I said.
Yeah. They've now reached every corner of every planet
everywhere. And not one Romulan ship in that scene. A Romulan shuttle, for God's sakes, throw something in.
Or no runabout that can have more people. I mean, at this point, there's no point in talking about it in terms of video because they've given up. I mean, this is why, this is the most expensive Trek show ever, but you can really feel they went over budget in certain areas and they're just absolutely scrimping on other things. They're set reusing, they're CGI that's very minimalist. I mean, they're really, they burn budget somewhere heavily, and it's just, because if it was a balanced thing, as I said before, Eaglemoss, if they had designed a Romulan shuttle for this unique planet, guess what? Eaglemoss, you could sell 100,000 of them, make you money. If they were clever, they would have had multiple things. You could have had the Starfleet Command new personal shuttle. That's a model. You could have had the civilian version, which looks different. That's a model. And you could have the entire, Picard shuttle collection. Instead, we just get... Because Ben Robertson can't justify selling Discovery shuttle repainted as the 9 different Picard shuttles.
But they will. They'll have a Discovery shuttle pack. It's not going to be the large shuttle. It'll be the smaller ones. Yeah. It'll be the taxi, the school bus. I can see it now. I can see it now.
That makes me so mad. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing, just tweaked 10%. Really.
And Captain Trek is here. He says, Trekyards, hello. Nice talking to you before. He was on the other stream as well, so welcome.
Excellent.
But yeah.
Thribis, not a Romulan planet, was on the other side of the neutral zone. Well, we don't know that. They didn't say that. They just said where it was place. But Beta Quadrant is Romulan Star Empire and us. So, we'll see. We'll see. It'd be weird to have... Why would you put the colonists in Federation space when the Romulans have got space? It's like saying, where shall we put Mexican immigrants? Let's put them in Spain. No, that's a good option. Put them in China. Or we just take them to their own place?
And Admiral Saval's here too. He was on the other stream as well. We are talking about the shuttles. Do you want to start with the first couple pictures of the shuttles so we have them on screen?
Yeah, sure. That would make sense. Yeah,
it would. It would. So, yeah, sadly, I think we're going to see something like that from Eaglemoss. It's not going to be the large shuttle because Discovery shuttle is a fairly good size. It's a nice model. It really is. But I can see them doing a variety pack that has a smaller version of it, just school bus, taxi, all that shit.
It's just embarrassing. It's just really, really embarrassing. And what's more embarrassing is that I guess then Picard took a Discovery-era shuttle to this planet while in command of the Verity, while an Admiral, and then he left the lady in orbit while he hung out with a kid for 3 days. Because this was the obvious time for the Verity to come out of warp, fly past camera, make orbit, then he beams down. Boom, you've now got another model to sell.
Yeah.
What a waste opportunity scene. But I was right, though. It does start in space.
Yeah. You were right. Yeah, absolutely. And also with the flashback. I love that they're all starting with flashbacks before the credits. Yeah. I think that's kind of a neat way to do it.
Although in rewatching it, this is a 7-minute flashback. That's a long... it doesn't feel that long, which is kind of a good job in editing. But that's a lot of the episode devoted to the flashback.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the episode.
Yeah. Well, we start off, we see some people playing those cards that Ramda has. So you get the feel for Romulan life. I kind of like that they're delving into the Romulan society a little bit in this. We've seen Klingons, we've seen Cardassians, we've seen a whole bunch of other things like that. So it's good to see the Romulans kind of get their love.
It's just me. It was the town shots, right? If you then go to the exterior shot where it looks like it's been built, that doesn't look like the same place. They all like under construction blocks of flats that are concrete, but yet this town is like done, furnished, lovely. What? Because I assumed this would be a Romulan city, Romulan planet, where they took Romulans to in the Romulan space. Because why would you take them to Federation space? And it's a pre-existing facility because this looks like it's being built, but their base looks fine and normal. And this is during the evacuation when you can obviously build a location quite quickly, but you know, all a bit weird.
Well, Matt Deckard throws in $5. Hey. I'll join soon enough. Have I mentioned my lifetime goal of becoming a shuttlecraft taxi driver? Yes, you mentioned it on the last stream, Matt. You were on live, so nice. It's a good goal to have. There's going to be lots of old shuttles.
And reality is announced as well. If you guys want Hollywood level CG on TV show, then it's going to be an expensive TV show that gets axed fast. I mean, Lost in Space, The Expanse, Game of Thrones, they all got multiple season run. I mean, this has Hollywood level special effects. It's not very interesting. So, completely disagree. Yeah. Almost all TV shows have Hollywood level effects because they're using the exact same VFX houses as the Hollywood studios. Like Pixarmondo did all the Discovery effects and Endgame. So the same houses. So, no, sorry. But yes, non-de-aged Picard beams down.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Which confuses me because he feels just as old, even though this is like the same year as. Well, I guess losing your job ages you 20 years in one day or one year.
Well, he hasn't lost his job yet, so.
No, it's true. Yeah, I don't know why he looks so much older. I think they just ran out of money. They thought, no one's going to notice. Let's just not de-age him.
Right. Eugene, 500 rubles. Romulans are full-blown ancient Egyptians now. One of the guys even wears an Usuk Egypt necklace. Yeah, we'll just point that out later. There's a few people in that crowd later during the fight scene, which my attention was drawn to a few things. I'll point those out when we get there. But the nuns' costumes are a mix between Copic nuns and whatever inspired Luminara Undali suit. P.S. Where's Picard's uniform? It's on the ship. He was going on an away mission. He wanted to feel like an explorer.
I guess this
he just didn't want to work it.
I assume it's a mini holiday for him because he explains in 3 days there'll be an evacuation, more people coming in, but he's just going to hang out with a kid for 3 days. It's like, surely in 3 days you do a lot of good work. I guess this is a holiday. Like, he has a holiday between the next thing. That's the only thing I can take from it. He's not in uniform. But in reality, Patrick didn't want to be in uniform, so he'd said no to uniforms. So they made him this thing that's probably in his wardrobe anyway. I think the Romulan look is absolutely fine. I think they just look like civilians. You know, we only ever saw people in towns, but this very much to me could feel like a Romulan city, like on the other edge of, you know, the province. I wouldn't think much of it personally. You know.
Oh, video froze. Stream dropped. Video buffering. No audio even for me. Just me or broken. Yeah, it ended the stream. God damn it.
Got nothing else open.
Oh, we're back. We got red, but that's okay. God damn. Eugene says, damn Section 31 agents. And Mark Lawrence shows our captain and commander emojis. This is where we should have gotten a shot of the ship in space when he beamed down. Yeah, or beamed up. Instead of having all the shuttles flying around, have one Starfleet ship and maybe a couple of shuttles in the distance.
Yeah, this show doesn't know where to spend their budget properly. Really,
no.
It doesn't. It's weird. But we get introduced to this girl boy. What do they call him?
Sister boy.
Which I thought was a bit mean, but actually it fits perfectly well. They're sisters, and he's the boy, so actually it's absolutely fine. Oh, and did you notice on this Romulan like exterior shot, where Discovery shuttles are of course flying around, they've got the exact same wind turbines as was on the roof that they fought on, that Daesh fought on.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I was like, that's the... Okay. Don't know if that was deliberate, but they're there.
Everybody hit refresh. Mark Lawrence says audio only here, but I've got my video looks perfectly smooth on this end, and so. Oh, and Joseph says refresh the page. I did, it works. So yeah, we're just refresh the page, guys.
Working for me. Yeah, but still 179 people watching, which is great. Click like. And then we get introduced to the Nuns.
Yes, the Coat Malat. Coat Malat.
And I actually now having seen it, a lot of this stuff looked a bit tacky in the trailers, but the way he opens his hand to greeting, I take that as I'm opening myself to you.
I think it's more like because of the absolute candor, it's like I'm an open book.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think actually, now in context, looks good.
Yeah. But yeah, he's got a relationship with these people, and I hate how the kids. It's absolute candor, I guess. He's grown up to talk like that, but the first thing to say, "Hello to Picard. What'd you bring me? You greedy little bastard!" Like seriously.
But I would expect that from that, honestly.
Yeah. Fleet Boss Swiftback puts in $1.99, 101 likes again at 150. Romulan bowl cuts for the win. Yes. 184 people here. Everybody hit like.
I will click like on the fact that you, Stuart, you actually called Three Musketeers. Bit of a tongue there. Three Musketeers last week, out of nowhere. Called it, and he brings Three Musketeers. And I was like, oh my god, they knew.
Well, they were fencing, and I just called something I knew it was fencing based. So there you go.
It's cool. It's cool.
Let's see. So yeah, he gives him a Three Musketeers book, and then I love how there's a conversation about secrets. Well, a secret makes you a jailkeeper. Don't have anybody else. I love that. I never really considered that, but it's absolutely true. And Picard's like, oh, well, I promised you something, but, since I forgot that promises were prisons. And she's like, no, give me the candy. That was great. And also the whole discussion of why he doesn't like kids. I don't like kids. And it's exactly for the reasons she stated. Which, hold on, I got to pull up the exact quote because it's pretty fantastic.
She was a great part of this episode.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, this Picard show is sort of going downhill a little bit, but the acting, or at least the actors, are very well cast. Good job for them, because they are getting the right people, just not the best material.
This is the perfect way to describe why I don't like children. Because they're demanding, distracting, and interfere with duty and pleasure alike. Yep, that sums it up pretty good.
Yeah. And it's not offensive either. It's just like, yep. Oh. It's just the way it is.
Starship Mango puts in £2. Former Romulan senator loses his head. Literally. Yeah, I actually really liked that character. I liked the actor.
But it's no worse than killing the entire Senate nemesis. So, I mean, we've seen worse massacres.
That's true.
So what do you think of this entire sequence, the first bit with the way the kids introduced, the way Picard's introduced, the way he's saying, oh, I'm going to help you guys with the evacuation, and we've got more people coming in 3 days. What do you think of that whole setup scene?
I thought it was nicely handled, actually. Because if he had been helping relocate people previously and created this relationship, I think it worked out well. I thought it was introduced nicely. It didn't feel heavy-handed. It just felt natural. So I just wish he was wearing a Starfleet uniform. But that being said,
made it better. Yeah.
That being said, if he's going to be there for a few days, so he thought he would go down like that, which I can't see him doing in TNG.
Or not as an admiral now with more responsibility.
Yeah, not in that suit, not with his comm badge the way it is. I don't know. It just felt a little weird.
And rewatching it, I like how the scenes play out, but when you watch the entire episode as a whole, they drag on because it's all so many minutes of build-up, when really it could have been told shorter, more efficiently, and in episode 3, not 4. It's a lot of wasted time the way it is. Whereas by itself they're nice, but when you realise that these are precious minutes of a preciously small series or season, and also I don't understand why this admiral who's had many crews, many officers, many whatevers, for some reason takes a massive shine to this kid. And I mean, he never hugged Wesley like this when he was I know there was a different era for him, but it feels so forced. Like, well, we have to make him love him. Like, we're going to get this father-son vibe, I guarantee. This kind of forced, like, you're the son I never had. It's like, what?
Well, this is that and the fact that he lost his nephew, and that was after the Wesley thing. So I mean,
that
I kind of
was a good 10 to 14 years before this, though.
Yeah, and it's a lot of time to regret, thinking that the Picard line's not going to carry on. I'm not going to have kids by the looks of things.
The problem is, I agree, but he clearly hasn't done anything about that.
Well, he might have, and we don't know that yet. We haven't heard that part of the story. Did Beverly get married and something?
Well, that's what we want, but the way these things are playing out doesn't kind of say to that. I just think they're kind of forcing this down our throat a little bit with this. It feels very unnatural because he's this admiral. Can you imagine, I don't know Admiral Kirk, but some random admiral in TNG taking the day off to go see one family when his ship's in orbit and is trying to do all this stuff? Like, if this is the important evacuation, then 3 days at warp with a faster ship is very important. How can he take 3 days off? Obviously, we haven't learned how many days, weeks, months that the
ship isn't there either. It could be they dropped him off. The ship went to do something because he wanted this time, and then she comes back and beeps him and says, there's been a synth attack on Mars, and he wasn't expecting it, and that's why the ship wasn't in orbit when we first see him.
It just feels so weird that he's just teaching one random Romulan kid defense with no other mission on the planet except a meeting in 3 days. It just feels like he's more important than this,
I'm going to disagree respectfully, but
it's more of a plot thing than a story thing.
Yeah. But yeah, he reads him the book, teaches him how to fence, which is kind of nice, I guess.
And that explains why he likes the sword.
Yeah, and it's nice tying in the fencing from TNG, so that's fantastic.
And I also like how they have the silhouette of the long shot so they can use the stunt double to do the actual fencing moves.
Yeah.
Simple, but effective.
Yeah. So then he gets a beep from Raffy saying that Mars has been attacked, and he's holding his ear. First of all, one of the things I've always complained about is communicators, how they just blare to everyone in the vicinity what's going on. So this is like a bit of, I can see him clicking it and having it on low so you could so they wouldn't hear what's going on. But when you focus on his hand, there's nothing in his hand. It's not even in the palm of his hand by the looks of it. It feels really weird. It's the same with Agnes in the last one where she pulls out the invisible earbuds and then there's nothing in her hand, and the next shot it's like, just what?
It's like you have a communicator, but yes,
yeah.
This is why uniforms are important. Yeah, it's so. I mean, nothing against having earpieces, but they've never been a thing ever. For this sort of thing, and it's again so modern. It's like, yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. SWTX Chaser though throws in $5. All that was missing was Picard putting Wesley on hold to be with this kid. Well.
Yeah, it's just a bit forced, and there's so many of these little stories that this could have been another season arc. Him dealing season 1 also should have been the evacuation of Romulus. He could have spent a while. He found this kid in the rubble of a town. He takes him and he beams him up. The kid doesn't want to go with anyone else, so he stays with Picard. Picard accepts him unwillingly, but does it. He won't. They could have made a full story about Picard learning to really like this kid but it's a story that's already been told and quickly and rushed. They're trying to force so many things in without any real emotional build-up. Weird.
Yeah. SWTX Chaser says, weren't earpieces comm badges in the novels? I mean, probably. But
novels aren't canon.
Exactly. So.
Because fans wrote them who decide that other tech exists.
Jadzia puts in $5 Canadian. In Little Green Men, we find out the universal translators were implanted near the ears. This might be an extension of the tech for private comms. That I would buy, but still.
And that was specifically for Ferengi that have big ears. That was specifically for them. That wasn't like everyone. That was just them.
Yeah, it was never explained that everyone had that. it's generally believed that the comm badge just translates everything for them. I don't know how that works exactly, but anyway. Andrew Reynolds, $2. Shut up, Eleanor.
That is kind of yeah. That's funny. But it is overall a scene I like. I think this is that stronger half of the episode. You know, it's still a good build up. It just still's a bit forced, and definitely not de-aged. I mean, you can see he looks just as old.
Yeah. Reeve Law, I banned rocked YouTube, puts in €5. Picard is so happy and quirky, it kind of fell out of character. Beaming while he walked out. Was this a post-production idea? Seemed odd. Yeah, I thought it was incredibly stupid. He started walking as he beams.
He's been beaming for 60 years. He knows how to beam.
He'll walk if he wants to. God damn it.
I think they just forgot that he was meant to beam out and they had to do it in post. I literally think that's the guy. Like, I don't think I can't imagine Frakes said, right, we'll walk, because this is Frakes. Frakes directed this. He knows better. I doubt he said, yes, we'll do a walk and beam like we've done in past seasons.
I think he was supposed to walk out, and then there's a scene of him beaming up from outside, maybe, and it just got cut, or they said, we'll edit it here and just add the effect or something.
He's going down a step. It's the worst time he could beam. Like, I know beam's meant to readjust you, but it seems like such an unnecessary extra thing. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, PreTitle Sequence, 7 minutes in, Star Trek Picard. And I guess this ship is now out of warp? Or is it meant to be the last... No, it's not the last scene. Why did they drop out of warp? If they're then...
If they weren't out of warp. This is just where the last episode started. Them just going to warp.
Oh, but they say it's been, like... They imply it's been days.
Well, yeah, because they need to tell us that they're at warp. So I just got the assumption that was like, yep, this is what happened last episode. And then all of a sudden it's like a couple days later by the sounds of it.
Oh, so the warp jump is in the present, and then cut to the present in the... No, the warp jump is last episode, now we're back in the present.
It doesn't bother me.
It just feels odd. They didn't need that shot. I mean, we kind of...
they could have just had it in warp, because they show it from the side late in warp. Yes. Would have been fine.
And this scene, I think, is one of the best of the episode. Actually, now having rewatched it. It's kind of random, but it feels kind of genuine in like a random way. I really like the VFX shot of her with the warp behind her. I like the lighting. And again, Rios is not a dick. He's actually a relatable-ish guy.
Talk about the lighting. One moment where the camera goes like this, and the warp effect's behind Rios, and it looks like he's like got an angelic halo. I don't know if that's going if it's going to like mean anything, but it seemed like weird imagery.
No, there's just a lens flare in the middle of warp. That's what it means.
Yeah. And she's complaining about how boring it is.
Well, I think she's commenting. I think she's complaining, per se.
Well, I guess it's called space. It's in the name. It's not like it's called vast quantities of stuff. There are over 3 billion stars in our galaxy alone. There are over 3 billion... Oh, I said that right. And ours is one of 2 trillion galaxies. And there are septillion known planets. So maybe it should be called vast quantities of stuff. I kind of like her dialogue. It's very reminiscent of Tilly dialogue. This is the Picard Tilly analog. It's
a Tilly, but turned down to be more human and relatable.
Yeah.
And also, Alex Personal, I'd love to see you guys pull apart TNG in the same way. There's so many things wrong and the pacing is pretty bad. I guess nostalgia protects the older stuff. Alex, come on, Alex. You must be new to the channel. That's a silly comment.
Look up Trekyards TNG review. We're almost through season 2. We've been doing the exact same thing with every TNG episode. So your point is invalid. Go watch our other TNG reviews. There's a lot of bad stuff in all of Star Trek. A lot of good stuff as well. And we look at both sides of it. So
we do 2-hour lives, scene by scene. We do not hold back. And actually, we found that season 1 is not as bad as people say it is. People use that as an excuse. It's not. It's got some of the worst, but it's got some pretty strong stuff for the time, especially, and some. So yeah, sorry about that. It's not like this. I mean, it is, but this is different because remember, TNG was made. This is the new show. This show knows canon, knows universe, knows things. Every time they change something here, it's by choice. They were inventing it, so it is a bit different. there's more to notice here because everything connects. There was fresh, you know. But no, we went back and yeah, seriously.
We've been more than fair. Ask any of the regulars that are in the chat right now.
Yeah. And Zrax sorry.
Fleetboss Whip puts $1.99. Is this a logical progression of warp effects? Well, we have a video coming out about that, so I suggest watching it when it happens. You'll see a video talking about the warp effects from us. So
yeah, it's just visual reboot like they often are. But Zraxa says she pulled off the socially awkward well. I don't think she's socially awkward. She didn't seem that much to me. She's just... And in fact, I would say she seemed less smart in this one. Because she's not an element, she's just being a person. I think they found quite a nice little niche of just relatable human woman, if that makes sense. Like, I think the actress and Frakes got on well, and he let her just play the scene how she wanted, and they vibed off each other. I think it's it was good. And these scenes when Raffy comes in, I think these scenes and when they're in the chateau, this is what the show is missing, an ensemble cast bounce off each other. It's missing this, and there are little bits of nuggets of cool when we get these moments.
So I guess Alex said he's a regular and he's watched them all, but we're just not fair, I guess. So,
well, can't please everyone, but I think most people would agree with us. Yeah.
Oh. One of the interesting things about this scene particularly is how the dialogue between her and Rios ends. She goes, an opera, to which he replies, "It's a long story." So, is that a reference to Ezri? Because she got fond of it when she was Jadzia because of Worf, as a reference to Worf. We'll know sometime, hopefully, or it's going to be one of those mysteries. I don't know.
I mean, my assumption is maybe just his ex-girlfriend liked Clone Opera. I mean, I don't think it'll link to anyone in particular, because most Klingons, I think, like opera, and it's powerful stuff. No, these scenes are gentle, and again, this guy... There's some really good nuggets here, and I want more of this. This should have been episode 3, hands down. They should have unedited 3 episodes and made them 2. This would have been a much better episode 3. You know?
Yeah. Eugene puts in 250 rubles. Space shot of a ship was weird. The sound in the background was weirdly similar to the ship FTL sounds in Mass Effect Andromeda. I think one of the people in charge is a fan of Mass Effect. I've heard Mass Effect more in the past 3 weeks than I have in my entire life, I think, for comparisons.
I mean, everything about this side view is Mass Effect. I mean, it's 100% pretty much. It's kind of staggering, really.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say it's a bad thing. It's just like it's out of that Trek realm into the not Trek realm, and Mass Effect was the closest thing. But Raffy comes in because they're not on course for the place that they said were on course last episode. She's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, the captain wanted to go there." Oh.
We're going to Vashti in the Kira sector.
I love that she points out that, you know, he guilt tripped this ride, and he's using the bloody guilt trip ride for his own personal agenda. I mean, it makes sense, luckily, but she's like, typical. Although, do you not think that they reshot and refilmed some of the aggression between her and Picard? Because here she seems totally normal. Like, there's no underlie "I hate him" anymore, which was so visceral in some scenes, and now it just feels almost completely gone. What do you think?
I think she's just moody.
Okay. I'm just amazed. Like, I've lost. The whole crew seems pretty good now together. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. But then we get the scene in the holodeck, which pisses me off so much. We rebuilt your study to exacting specifications. Your Mr. Zabon supplied me with the holoscans. You thought you might feel more at home. And then we talk about the hospitality hologram. Get introduced to another hologram, so that's great. But I brought this up in our other discussion I released earlier, is the fact that why would he want to be at the chateau? He already just said in the last episode, I've tried to fit in here, I've tried to belong, I've tried to enjoy this place. As I said, it would have made more sense to actually, since he's going back into space and he might be dying soon, it'd be very cool to have the TNG ready room as this instead of the chateau. But it's just a cost-effective measure for filming. So,
yeah, he's
clever, yes, but not as clever as it should have been.
Yeah, he said it never quite felt like home, and yet this is where he's calling home. I mean, he was on
Yeah.
Enterprise D almost longer than, you know what I mean? He was on there almost as long as the Chateau. Yeah, I love that idea when you said that. It makes more sense. It's also a cheap set, relatively speaking, than Enterprise D. It's not, I mean, they've rebuilt it for, a few times. Yeah, and they've used it obviously lots and lots of times. Yeah, it's just a cost saving, and Patrick doesn't have to go to multiple sets. They can just keep filming this one room.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that pissed me off too about the scene is he says, pause holomatrix, and the birds stop. And he turns around, the camera shows a different angle, and the fire is still going. They should have at least froze the fire, but whatever.
Yeah, it just feels a bit lazy. And again, this is the most expensive Trek show ever made. Where is the money going? I'm not joking. Where is the budget here? I mean, yes, that exterior set looked nice, but it wasn't anything special. It doesn't feel the most expensive show ever made. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, I agree. Matthew DeFreitas puts in $1.99. I love the episode. Just tired of the flashbacks. Just let it go.
Oh, I disagree. The flashbacks are some of the best things we're seeing each episode. Ironically, the data thing, not a flashback, but Similar Vein was one of the best ones. Him in uniform was one of the best bits. I think the flashbacks are kind of holding it up a bit.
Well, you know how I was. You know how I feel about flashbacks, especially in Arrow and stuff. In this one, they're working for me. They're fine. I love them that they're before the credits. We're getting that.
They're not credits, they're titles. Credits are at the end.
Whatever. We're getting that flashback or that history lesson ongoing, and it's short. It's good. I think it's fine way to do it.
One thing is they need it because everything is basically a fresh start reboot, and they can't tell it in conventional storytelling.
Yeah.
They're just a little bit too long for the current story. Because if this was a really well thought out arc, then you'd have more clues in all the flashbacks that would like tell a sub story. But in that flashback, you can tell it's just to get the kid. There's nothing else. There's no other layers there. There's no hints there. We're not gonna, it is very one dimensional and it's fine. But if you were very clever and like you'd have Picard wear a different uniform, we'd have him wear like he'd hint at something in his dress or in another bit of dialogue or something. Maybe you'd get some political. Yeah, that's interesting. Why didn't even we said this in another review? We don't know the state of the Romulan political situation with the Federation. Why didn't they use that opportunity, the flashback, to say, well, how's it going with the Romulan Senate? Well, they could have had this whole great debate. That would have been world building, and they're kind of squandering a few of those chances.
Yeah. Fleet Pass Whipback puts in $1.99. I effing hate that hospitality program. Actually, the line is, I hate that fucking hospitality program. And I think it is the perfect use of a swear word in the series so far. It rolled off the tongue. It was great acting. I just love that scene. It's one of my favorite moments of this episode, actually. And I think it's suitable coming from that character. So, yeah. And I also love the fact that the hologram said, well, I came with the basic installation, and, our captain, he keeps his own company. And, I mean, literally that's the case, because all his holograms are himself. So, love that. Thought that was great.
Oh, and Big Chap says, rumour is the money got siphoned Discovery Season 3.
I kind of doubt that.
Because the first rumour was that money from Discovery Season 2 got siphoned to this. So I'm not really sure.
I mean, that could be the case, actually, now that you say it like that. Sure.
What went over budget, maybe. I mean, we know Season 2 went massively over budget for Discovery, so to, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, in response to the effing thing, I didn't even notice it was a swear word first time around. It's so, in character.
So organic, yeah.
See, that's the appropriate use of a swear word, not Tilly just coming out with it randomly, or an admiral yelling at him, because that's professionalism. Now, if the admiral had been in a bar outside of Starfleet, he'd walked up to her off duty, bought her a drink, said, you have some fucking hubris coming in and offer me a drink. Okay, fine. This was perfect. Didn't even occur to me. And if this was the first swear word in Trek, I think we'd all giggle about it. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
You ain't quirky, but I like it. Because I don't even think he means it. I think he just he wants me to have fun. That guy, right? He comes into my room, offers me fun. I don't want fun. Like right now, I'm busy. I think is that sort of hate. Because why would you hate him? There's no reason to hate him specifically, except I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
Jadzia, $2 Canadian. To be fair, the fire didn't freeze in Defector. Yeah, and that's also something I think we complained about for that episode as well.
But it's also the most expensive Trek show ever made. So, unfortunately, those arguments don't work as well if they've got more money than ever before to do little things. Because if they can have holograms on the bridge in every single pillar, which as they walk behind, you're rotoscoping for every single shot on every single part of the bridge, just don't do that, and you'll save tens of thousands of dollars. So...
yeah. Anyway, the scene continues. She's like, not going there is not only stupid, but it's weird, kind of thing. And then Picard says, "Why are you so eager to get to Free Cloud?" And I love this because she says, "Eager? Do I seem eager?" And Rios is like, "I would say more apprehensive." So there's a reason there that she wants to get to Free Cloud, that Rios can read her, and there's some apprehension there, and it's going to be interesting to find out what that is. So I love that subtle little touch. That was really good.
And I was just, like I said, we were watching the scene. This scene shows genuine chemistry between these three that we haven't got in this entire season so far. You know? Yeah. And I love the fact that she says, they talk about the political situation, and she says, "Didn't you tell him the political situation? Didn't the captain tell Picard?" And he's like,
I assumed he knew.
Because he's like a good officer, you took his orders. And it's like, yes, good. He's going back into old habits of being a good officer. That's exactly what I said was going to happen. Because the great Admiral Picard gives him an order to go somewhere. He's like, yeah, aye. That's good. There's so much you can do with that. These are three renegade officers that still very much follow the Starfleet ideals. You know? Even so much as him saying, he's so back into form, he says come, and they come in. Although, did you notice that the doors weren't hollow? They didn't close the gate. So I think they've now just built that on the set. Because now they're not going back to the chateau, and they've just now built that as part of the set, which is much cheaper. Well, I hope we're going to see a walk and talk, because that'd be kind of cool if this is now the permanent holo set, or at least half permanent, and we see him walk in and out of the ship set, like the bridge, and straight down the stairs, then straight into the chateau set. That would look cool and be like we saw on TNG. It's like, oh, they really did it.
Well, the thing that interests me is at the end of this scene, we're not done talking about this scene yet, because there's a few lines of dialogue that are important, but at the end where he says, "I'll be in my quarters," and then you hear the door swish, the holodeck door. So he's going to his quarters on the ship, or at home.
Sorry, where?
Fucking seriously?
Sorry.
All right. So why? So does he go to the quarters on the ship, or if he wanted the chateau to feel at home, why is he not going to the quarters on the holodeck and kick them out or whatever? I don't know.
That did feel a little bit off kilter. You either do one or the other.
Yeah.
I guess you could probably argue that he does his best thinking in his own chateau house, but he doesn't. His bed was never his house, but because part of your home is what you got in your home, so I'm assuming that this room is more about the trinkets in it. That all these things help him think. That's kind of how I took that a bit more, or at least trying to rationalize it.
Yeah, because he says that every detail is great. He's put hand over his stuff on his desk. So, Richard Kennedy, though, has become a commander. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Zeus. Thank you. So, yes, here we find out that the smugglers and petty warlords are basically in control of this area. Kar Kantar got a hold of an antique bird of prey somewhere and has been running wild from Vashti to Dematia, whatever the planet's name is. And then Picard's like, but the Kyrus sector is in the Fennis Rangers territory. The Rangers just don't have the resources to keep up with the chaos there anymore.
Yeah. I really wish they established which quadrant, as in where we are exactly. Are we in Federation space? Are we in Romulan space? If we're in Federation space, why are the Romulan refugees in Federation space? They should be in Romulan space. If we're in Romulan space, how do you have jurisdiction to work? If this is a neutral zone, then how do you have jurisdiction? I wish they haven't, again, the political situation they have not set up yet, so it's hard to kind of get a feel for what this all means. Because warlords running around, but okay? Why doesn't one of the two governments stop with Rangers? The Federation, part of the Federation was it protects everybody. If in Romulan space, I can see them not protecting. I see Romulans saying, "Who the hell cares?" But then, how are they legally allowed to go to this planet? They haven't told us any of the political situation and stuff, so it's really hard to relate to it.
Yeah. Travis Foster says this ship really needs an emergency counselor program. All head cases, alcoholics, drugs addicts, daddy issues, depressed old man, and a brainwashed religious zealot. Oh my.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I totally agree with that.
And Andrew Reynolds, go Fenris Rangers.
I know. I've said Rescue Rangers because I couldn't remember their name earlier. And
Nathan, head actor, says, I doubt the neutral zone exists anymore since Fall of the Empire. I said that. I thought very much likely it might not anymore. That was my possible guess.
Yeah. SWTX Chaser puts in $2. That Rangers line had me thinking Babylon 5 for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Eugene, 250 rubles. It shouldn't have been Captain's Ready Room. It should have been Captain's Ready Room of the D or the E. Absolutely. I think more the D. More comfort. Actually, that being said, the Enterprise E one was pretty nice, but
it would have been such an easy set. Or even, to be fair, they already have the 10 forward set. Talk about fitting at home. Why couldn't they walk on the 10 forward set? That would have been even more saving money, because how could
they had it, yeah.
And wouldn't it have been cool if Raffy had walked in and been like, Galaxy class? I liked this bar.
Yeah.
And then she walked, and that would have been hard. That would have been. And let me just grab a glass of water so I can kind of. But I'm put on to when the new lady comes in. You can mention Agnes.
Oh yeah, okay. So Agnes comes in and says, "Should I be part of this conversation? I remember the crew now." And Raffy points out, "Well, this Vashti is a hotbed for Romulan rebirth movement. He wants to go hire an assassin," she says. Picard's like, "They're not assassins and you can't hire them. The Quat Malat have to choose you." And then Rios is like, "Romulan warrior nuns. That's a thing? That's great." And they're the most skilled single combat fighters that I have ever seen, and the most feared enemy of the Tal Shiar. They have their own criterion whether or not to give or withhold their assistance to a cause. And then we find out about the absolute candor thing without any filter between thought or word, which is fine. And hold on just 1 second, guys. I just got to do that and that. There we go. Let's back up now. Okay. So yeah, he needs to hire himself or get an assassin. So I thought that was a good explanation for the Kawat Milat. Romulan assassin nuns, warrior nuns.
Yeah, I think we both like those in general, mostly because they're such a small entity that they can exist. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, they're on one planet. There's probably less than 100 of them. You can't hire them. They choose to, and they're, like you said, they're sort of suicide operators anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
Although I didn't like the line. I liked all of it except, and they're the worst enemies of the Tal Shiar. It's like the Tal Shiar have a fleet, operatives, technology. You have 25 nuns that don't have blasters. Don't think you guys are any threat at all. Maybe you represent the threat, but they're no threat, Stuart. No, if they had ships, fine. But that seemed like. But again, Patrick Stewart doesn't. Jean-Luc Picard doesn't know the situation. He's obviously going a bit wonky, so he's talking out of his non-knowledge right there.
Yeah. But then they have the conversation at the window of losing Dodge just make you remember Eleanor.
Yeah.
You're sure you want to do this? And he's like, "Well, I may never pass this way again." So he just shakes his head and says, "I'm going to my quarters." And you actually hear the holodeck door, even though it's not a holodeck door, close. So.
And this is where, again, Raffy is not vibing negative to Picard. She's super back to her old ways. Like, you could have completely taken out all of her being like, "I never want to see you again, get out." Like, you could have removed all of that and just had it be, she hasn't seen him in 14 years. Like literally, if I do re-edit the season, I might just remove their entire "we hate each other" backstory, because intercut with this, you wouldn't think she hated him, and I think it's much better. This sort of working as a team is helping this show. These scenes are better than other scenes because everyone has a bit of a thing to say, and it's just yeah.
Hold on, I gotta.
Great time for that to go wonky. Now I'm in charge. Hello, much more civilized. I'd like to see more Starfleet ships. Yes. Alicia Lincoln JL. What's times? Yes. What is that ship? Big Ring. Power Ranger Samurai. They are Jedi. Jet Vasha Sith. That's. I like that. That's funny. Fully transported out here. Well, I'm going to continue then. But yeah, I actually like this scene. I like their conversation. I mean, Agnes is a bit unnecessary. She's like, what does that really mean? But I mean, whatever. She fits in reasonably well with the crew. But another part of the reuse of this set is that the colour palette just continues to feel like the Chateau because it is. We've seen these scenes. We should be past this. Whereas if you had the futuristic TNG sets, that would really help, I think. Oh yes, back on the cube. Was that last cube this much of a height? I thought the cube had less space taken out. I don't know. So we have one of the very few Borg sections of this entire episode. We start with Soji playing with the Ramda. Yeah, Ramda things. I quite like her in a formal makeup. Oh, there's two sisters. I mentioned that before. Look, there's a picture of them. That's cool. Look who's back. Back again. And I was just saying, look, there's a picture on the desk of both of them, which I never noticed before. Nice touch.
Nice. Ian Warrender, one of our moderators, has become an admiral. Welcome to the admiral ranks, Ian. Thank you very much.
He outranks us all. Except Sylvia.
He does. Except Sylvia, absolutely. That's why I kept it, so that she could lay the smackdown on these admirals that join up.
That's why I joked to you the other day saying you should definitely have an admirals only live, and neither of us could be there because we're not that high rank. It's like,
yeah,
the people in the thing aren't allowed to be.
Yeah. All right, so where are we at?
No, your thing was in spam, but I just found it. It's not junk. There we go. I didn't see it because it wasn't in there. Yes, no, I was just talking about the Borg, how this is one of the few scenes.
Are we at Borg scene? Seriously?
Well, I mean, it's just a destroyer scene anyway.
Okay.
But Benjamin does say, and I do kind of agree that if you look at the X-ray of the Borg cube, it feels as if the hole's bigger. Because I don't remember it being that drastic. I thought there's multiple small ones. I don't know if they're now actively removing parts of it.
Could be. Let's see here.
Gan Madden.
Eugene puts in 250 rubles.
Thank you.
The apocalypse described feels so controlled from Discovery Future. Yeah, and I gotta say that was a creepy ass shot where she's describing the day of annihilation, and they switch from the front of the screen to the back, and her face is overlaid on dodges. It's no matter how many times I see it, it's like that is creepy as hell. So
I think that must mean something. That feels like a symbol. You know how in Game of Thrones when the shot where Daenerys has dragons behind her and they go, it's like, there you go, she's got dragon wings. That feels like such a visual shot. Maybe not.
Yeah.
It says something to me. I
love how... Sorry. I was going to say, it might tie into the whole thing later where Soji says, she saw me. Like, she was the only one that actually, I feel like she saw who I was. She saw me. And even though she didn't like, it's the only time Idiot.
I like the fact that she's on a talk show. They say that later on, but it's quite like, oh, okay. We're on a talk show. Cool. Why not? Sure. But I don't get this thing. So, the Destroyer, as is called the Day of Annihilation, we say annihilation of everything, of all life everywhere, when all the shackled demons break their chains and answer the call of the Destroyer. So she says it's like what Satan's. This is it's the what's the apocalypse called? Judgment Day 1. What's it called? There's a special name for like the apocalypse. The Antichrist comes.
The apocalypse.
Yeah, well, there's a special name. It's that, isn't it? It's just like, oh look, what's it meant to mean? How is Daesh possibly linked to an ancient thing? That feels so disconnected. I think so, anyway.
Yeah, she's the cause
Rapture.
Of it. She's caused
They're
the
investing
uprising.
Rapture. Yes, sort of.
Well, that's different.
Yeah.
That's totally different than what's in the Bible. Sorry.
That might have been the name that I was thinking of. Armageddon, maybe. I don't know. So.
Fleet Boss Swiftback puts in $1.99 and says, "Is there an Easter egg in the photo on the desk?" I don't know. Is there?
I mean, there's 2 of them, but apart from that, don't know. But yeah, this film felt like she was just learning what we all knew. It didn't feel like it added anything. It wasn't as informative as I think it should have been.
Yeah.
It felt kind of redundant.
Yep. So it's a short little scene.
Yep.
Oh, my fucking computer's annoying me.
Oh, is it not?
Keep losing. No, it's acting up. It needs to be restarted, but that's okay.
I mean, I can van for 5 minutes if you want. You can also join your phone technically if you want to.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm just gonna restart. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay, I'll keep going through. Okay.
Yes, please do.
Okay. Bye. Everyone say bye to Stuart. Bye.
Hold your horses there.
Getting the video up so I can still exist here. There I am. But he's still here. He doesn't want to go. Oh.
Hold on a second. I'm just seeing if there's another solution to the problem.
Okay, well now this is webcam me.
But I can't see you now. That's okay. I'll be back in a second. Bye.
Hello. Bye, Stuart. Bye, Captain. Bye. Jadzia, Canadian $2. Shackled demons. Could be Borg drones or AI synths. I like that for Borg. That's cool. Shackled demons. That's a good one. I like that for sure. For sure. Let's continue though. So, we get this great pan around Picard. And again, the captain actually has a good vibe, which I appreciate. As he's confused by the turmoil of the region. And last time he was here, everyone loved him, and he was hailed as a hero, and he got in easily. Not so easy this time around, because they are not going to in easily. Turns out the defense shields got more intricate, I guess, since last time, and so he should know this because of last time he was here. We saw their defense shield. They talk about it that it is coming in the entire planet, and it randomly selects areas that you can enter, but randomly if you're not given them ahead of time. So therefore, if you've got approved access, you just go straight in. It's fine. But if you don't, then you have 1 minute to get inside the field, and they'll also shoot you with death laser beams for fire drones in orbit. So it's quite a good security system. Old but effective, which is part of the dialogue. And he says, "Well, just tell it to me." And she's like, "I did, but towards Central Station, and just that'll get us in." Not as famous here as you once were. He's like, "Oh, sad." But it's quite an effective sounding solution. Look at the colours of that. That's good. And look at the brilliantly out of focus holograms. That's actually a really nice digital effect. Look how they shift, and that's actually a lovely little effect. And it's like, well, how are we going to get down there? We can't sneak down. I was assuming there's going to be a whole thing of trying to get down, but we didn't quite get that. Instead, the captain says, or just we offer a big cash gift. It's like, well, okay. It's quite adorable actually. Although I wonder what they offered. Well, I guess things like replicas are important at that time. Star Trek Voyager Workforce Planetary Shield. Ah, yes. Good. Should have been plasma torpedoes. Maybe. Yeah, lots of technical problems, but it's fine. But it's on Stuart's end, not on my end. Don't know if I should keep going, but he does. He very quickly goes from being I can't get through to he does. He beams down, and it's very similar to last time. But it's not quite the same. Last time, people flocked to say hi, and this time, it's like, hello? Hello? No? Okay. No one likes him right now. And then you get these obvious close-ups of this, I can't remember what they called it in the episode. Something like the new Romulan Freedom Group. It's kind of an odd logo, but I took it as this people here either belong to the warlords faction, the militia, whatever, or believe this new pro-Romulan subset that want power and whatever. But it's hard to know what that might be if we don't even know where in space this planet takes. Where this planet is, if it's in Romulan space, if it's in Federation space, Beta Quadrant, but it doesn't really help too much. 1 million bars of gold press platinum worth of wine. That's funny. And guys, please do super chat your thoughts, comments, queries. Now at 261 people watching, which is great. We'd love to hit 300 if you want to share. Please do. There is Stuart back. Let me just cancel this video signal so that we can then swap back to Skype video.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Stuart. How are you?
Better now. Seems like everything's working better, smoother.
Well, the image is just not wanting to be nice.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell the issue was.
Well, I covered the introduction of the planet. Unless you have anything else to cover on what it does, how it does. In fact, they had to barter with a cash settlement to get in.
Cash always works. Well, I love how it's a standard Romulan defense shield, bought secondhand, and helped the Fennis Rangers helped them install it. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, which I liked. And I was just doing the whole. We've got 206 people watching, 148 likes. Please do super chat. We rely on these to fund the channel. Not a lot of people having their comments or thoughts today. It's kind of surprising because there's stuff happening. But even for $5, have your comment question read out and whatever.
Did you mention too that every 30 minutes a transit zone opens up in a random spot in the network?
I forgot about 30 minutes.
If the system clears you, you have a minute to pass through. If not, you are met with immediate kill fire.
Death beams from above.
Yeah. So, I mean, there you go. I love how they're like, we're working on, are we cleared yet? No, we're working on several, angles. Well, just call Central Command and tell them that I'm here. And they're like, that was the first thing we tried. They were less than impressed. And I love the look on his face. He's like, whoa, fuck them.
He plays a scene really adorably. I think he's kind of pitch perfect in this one.
Yeah.
And so remember to put the microphone a little bit further away from your desk. Or yourself, sorry.
It's exactly in the same spot I was before.
You're a little bit louder for some reason.
I can't move it any further. It's right against my monitors.
Everyone can deal with it. But this thing beams down, says hi. No one says hi back.
Well, the nuns do eventually.
Well, yeah. There's a nice contrast of they haven't changed, but society has. Did you notice how the senator guy, he has a badge? It's actually a comm badge. He blue loops. Yeah. That's a nice touch, actually. And I get the sense that Picard's wearing the badge of the ship. I think that's actually a comm badge too. He doesn't actually use it.
Yeah. Did you read Jadzia's super chat?
I did, about the drones. Yes, I did.
Okay, and there's another one by Thribs, 2 pounds. That energy shield will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 open it. That's the combination I have on my luggage.
Oh. Well, I mean, it's works well.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's a great introduction. I love the look on her face, and she's like, "You got old, Picard," because absolute candor, after all. And he's like, "Ah, you didn't." And she goes, "May I remind you that you were in a house of truth? I obviously got old. You're being nice. Shut up."
But, I mean,
I thought it was great.
But in reality, obviously, she does live like 250 years. So I mean, she does look identical. I mean, so does he. They didn't de-age him in last time. But yes, we filmed this last week. Didn't get that much older. And again, I gotta say, this lady does play a part very well. And it is interesting. We talked about this a little while ago when we're still debating, is the Commodore Vulcan or Romulan, and how you can without the distinct head ridges, how you can act them differently. And if you do act a Romulan sort of chilled out, they feel more Vulcan. Not Vulcan exactly, but the vibe is more similar. I don't know about you, but she kind of felt, at least on the spectrum, close to Vulcan than to what we normally associate with a Romulan.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Absolutely. But the fact that the way their absolute candor goes against everything that the Romulan society stands for, I sort of love that. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to place her where she fits.
Well, I mean, also, I wouldn't be surprised if they also, not the Spock held, but think about Vulcans don't lie. It's not absolute candor, but it's honesty. You know? So it's kind of a shared philosophy, just in different ways. And yeah, I do like the fact that it's so against the Romulan philosophy of I guess the philosophy of keep things to yourself and be, sworn to secrecy. But I appreciate how everyone around him is like, oh god. But these guys, there's no delay of Picard. They're totally accepting him straight away. We can skip all that stuff. We don't need those extra moments, So this bit's quite efficient, I think.
Yeah. Jadzia puts in $2. Her look is so Kai Opaka, just darker colors. Yeah, it is. I thought the same thing. But and then Eleanor pops in, and that's the end of the scene.
Yeah, but he's like, "What? Oh." But he walks away before it's just to say anything. Because if he stays, he has to say something. Okay, then we get to the implants. Is Rhonda dead? Is Rhonda sedated?
No, she's not dead. She's just sedated, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, not a very great Romulan scene or Borg scene.
No, this is the whole, she saw me, I felt seen, even though she didn't like what she saw. And then
it's just the same information, really. This.
Yep.
It's just not particularly. And again, you're thinking about where the money go. They didn't want to design a new ship or build new shuttles, but they put money into this drone, flying over her and scanning her. How is that needed? How did that happen?
I know, and the funny thing is, with the way that shot was filmed, I thought it was out in the hallway. It looked like it was a bigger drone back in the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it kind of it's in front of the door, and then it just seems like a small little drone. It was really badly done.
They just not putting money in the right places for this. But I guess they thought it'll be a boring scene otherwise, two people in a room talking. But do you know how many shots you've got of that or scenes of that in this show? Why are you suddenly worried with these two people? But I do think Narek was better in this one. We didn't talk about that in our review, but I think he is better in this one. What do you think?
He is better in this one than the second one, for sure.
Third one. Last one, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree. I don't mind his character so much in this one. It's kind of all over the place as far as... But it's well acted, at least. So, no real issues with him.
I mean, I think he's... I love that she points out this episode we cut through the bullshit of their relationship a little bit, that she calls him out for, you have no rank, you walk anywhere, the hell are you? Which I like that's instantly...
That's not this scene, that's the bar scene, which is the next scene, which happens right after this. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, yeah. That's right.
And then she automatically leads into the, are you the Tal Shiar? No. If you were Tal Shiar, would you still answer no? Yes. It's like, God, good job.
I love the lighting in this scene, but I don't like the set. I don't understand what they're going for here. And they spent money on this. Although
it feels too like out on a date at a nightclub.
Yeah.
I understand it's probably the mess hall or something. Or it might be a bar. Because they have people there from different areas doing research, and it looks very bar-like. So
it is the same set, just redressed with things on the walls, which I think actually it looks so different.
Yeah.
But their entire possible relationship is so odd in this episode. It kind of fluctuates from being like, because he took it to a place of saying, I think I'll fall in love with you, and then it kind of does the whole spectrum in this episode. It's as if they need the relationship to exist to justify something, but we don't want to give time for it to develop or fall down. Yeah. But we need the end result, but we can't give time. It doesn't. It's very odd. It's not.
It seems so. It's this whole next scene with the. Come with me. I have something to show you. Seems so forced and just awful.
It's not the next scene, is it?
Yeah. Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99. 157 likes again at 200.
Brilliant.
So guys, 263 of you here. That is awesome. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the like button. Perhaps join the channel. There's a join button down there. Or super chat your thoughts. We'll love to read them out and talk about them. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's asking about the classified files and whether he has access to them. He says nope, but I might know someone who does.
Yeah.
So, and then we get the whole Borg ritual thing. We find out a little of her backstory, at least from his research. Born in Seattle, left Seattle sometime before May 12th, 2396, when you shipped out for the Beta Quadrant aboard the Ellison. And there's a scene there where they're walking down the corridor, and he's saying this, and she tilts her head just like Data. It's the exact same Data inquisitive head tilt, which was great. David Bessick, though, just became a member of the channel. He joined the channel. He is now commander rank, so welcome, David.
Bloody same rank as me.
That's okay. Andrew Reynolds, $2. Narek Cruz, risky business incoming. Yeah. Yes. The ventilation return.
Yeah, I'll let you set up this scene. I have to go for a second. I've just not. This is the worst scene in the episode by a full-on mile. But I'll let you set up and give your thoughts. Let me find a good picture. And then, what do you guys think? Because I have my thoughts, although my camera's frozen, so it's a good time to back in 2 seconds. Let's make sure that camera works. Okay, I'm tiny there, but yeah, set up for us, Stuart. Back in 2 seconds.
All right. So they get to the ventilation return, and he's like, "Take off your shoes." Why? It's a Borg ritual. Take off your Borg space shoes. And then he blows 2 kisses in the air and then runs down and slides down, and they're doing this sliding thing. It's just so cringeworthy and just stupid. Again, they're forcing this relationship dynamic. Like, look, we're having fun. We're going to have a relationship. Because there just hasn't been enough time dedicated to it as of yet. Sure, they've slept together, but there's no, nothing that... Yeah, it was very cringy. Benjamin0119 says, I missed the head tilt. Watch it back again. He's walking in front of her. She's right behind him. And there's a slight head tilt as he says something. It was fantastically done. You can tell Frakes' direction in that case for that. So, Jedek Productions puts in $2 Australian. Loved it. I want more. So, yep. Ozzy Menderos doesn't put in anything, but since he's a channel member, it's very easy to see his thing. So this scene was very bad. In the context of Star Trek and the show, yes. In a rom-com, it's fine, I guess. I'm going to wait till the discussion they have after this, till Samuel's back. But yeah, it's some interesting dialogue for sure. So that's probably why they put the head tilt in, to make the scene passable for some. Yeah, I would think so. It's just it's Jonathan Frakes directing, so he'd be like, mimic Data's head tilts. So that's great. I give Frakes credit for having to direct this crap, says Medallion. Eugene says, in the context of Star Trek, it was bad, but it's not Star Trek, so I kind of like this scene. Well, sure, yeah. Hellrats96 puts in $2. This scene sucked harder than a vacuum in space. Wow.
So I want to call out one thing, Stuart.
Yes.
Mr. Alex Personal, who you might remember from earlier, says, "Are you guys an apology? I watched the first part of TNG review. It's a similar thing."
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Yes.
Because we look at all Star Trek the exact same way. It doesn't matter what it is. We're not, we just point out the good and the bad.
Why would we play favorites? That's not fair to anybody. We're judging on our fairness and the fact that we can separate a scene from another scene. We can love one moment in a really bad episode, and that doesn't, or hate moment in a really good episode. Speaking of this moment, so a couple of things to.
By the way, I just want to say thank you for apologizing. That's a big thing to do.
Well, thank you for going back and watching TNG. I mean, our things. I mean, it's all there. I mean, especially go look at the ones that are worst episodes. Here are negative things. I mean, each scene. Watch Our Child. I think we get like a 2 out of 10. It's like it's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, if bad is still bad.
Yeah. SWTX Chaser puts in $5. Does it seem that Soji's skin is slowly turning into a data hue every episode?
I'd love it.
No. It was always pale.
So
DX.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, DX2069 is now a captain rank. Ooh. So welcome to the channel.
You outrank me, sir. You brought your way into power. Please do not abuse it. No, thank you. That's awesome. Okay, so this scene, again, we wonder where the money's going. This scene took time to set up. The smoke machines. Why was the money being spent here? This scene is here to cement their relationship, right? And yet, at the end of the scene, he's basically creeping on her because he knows exactly what she's doing. And while it's sort of Romulan trait, she says basically, "Screw you," and walks away. And he's like, "Yes, but you still know the information, so you must be on my side." Sort of implying that they've now ruined the relationship because he thinks she's not, like, they set it up and then knock it down. I
hadn't got to that part yet. I was waiting for you to reveal that little nugget because after the fun they have a kiss, and then he says, "You weren't on that transport record." Well, he says, first of all, Federation travel records are public knowledge, which Romulans find crazy, but
that's what he said. Okay, I had to okay,
that it's public, that anybody can access it. And then he says, "Yeah, you weren't on that transport." And she's, "Are you accusing me of lying? Because I was." And then she's like, "To hell with you." And it's not very convincing acting, I gotta say.
Well, because they're not in love, they barely like each other, and so this has no impact. It has none at all. It feels like a summer fling that he's basically said, "Yeah, you weren't that good in bed." She's like, "Oh, but do you still want the money? Do you still want to ride in my car?" Yeah. It's that sort of very, But and you said a great thing in our review. This scene plays as burns their relationship, which I'm totally fine with. It wasn't going very well, but it's him speeding up his interrogation style to try and unhinge her, to try and turn her from happy-go-lucky, she's living a life, she's not thinking about it, to actually thinking, and maybe the reason that he's forcing himself, because this is all a plan. He's forcing himself into a life, forcing the feelings, saying these things, is so that he can have that one level of emotional connection with her, so that if he says something, she'll link onto it more than a random person. I'm assuming that's kind of what he's doing, and now he has to double rush it. So I think the end was decent, but that could have taken place in their quarters, in a much more intense scene, or even in the bar again, having this entire scene. I mean, I don't buy for a single second that there's a Borg sliding ritual. Like, not even
Of course there isn't. He was just being cutesy just to get her in to do this.
But the way he says it, he plays it so straight. There should have been more like, I mean, the Borg have a ritual. No, they don't. The Borg have a ritual.
With the 2 blowing kisses and taking your shoes off. Like, he's very much saying that it's not actually...
My worry is that Memory Alpha is going to take this and say, well, they said it in an episode, therefore the Borg have this ritual. And it's like, no. It's a lie nonsense. Please don't take it as this, because it's...
Memory Alpha's not that stupid, I don't think.
Well, no, but I'm just worried, because it's such a stupid thing.
Jadok Productions puts in $2 Australian. Thank you very much.
Hey, man.
I love the scene where the Romulan lost his head. And
it's a good effect, I'll give you that.
Yeah, David Bessick puts in $5. All I could think of was Drake and Josh. Drake, are you calling me a liar? Josh, I ain't calling you a truther.
I like that. That's good.
No idea what that's from, so.
From Drake and Josh.
I don't know what that is, so.
Kids' TV show that was very popular in the early 2000s.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, you had kids then, but I guess not that one. But one thing I'll say about this guy's acting in this episode compared to last episode is that he comes across really odd. But he's in a very difficult situation, and he doesn't... I don't think even he knows how I think this chap, while talented in some espionage, he doesn't know how to deal with her. This is not what he's good at. So he's kind of inventing every scene as he goes, and he doesn't like the instability of that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because he comes across very strange. But I think it works. I just wish there wasn't the cringe scene, forced scene. Because they could really have a good thing here. They're just squandering it a little bit. And again, things I would edit out. You know, I would take them right from the bar to making out on the wall. You know what I mean? Just that hard cut of like, we snuck away, and then while in heat of passion he's trying to get through to her. That'd be a much stronger cut. My opinion.
Yeah. Garrick001 puts in €2.29. Let's just all pretend this scene never happened.
Fair. Moving on.
Indeed we are. So now everything's blowing up for them. They recognize Picard, and good blowing up or bad blowing up. And it's like, it's bad. But I hate this scene. Ooh. The reason I hate this scene is because look at Rios's eye line. He's not looking anywhere near the holograms, and that's what happens when you don't have a goddamn screen to look at. But the next scene, they correct it where it's over the shoulder because they've kind of raised. I don't know. It just look at his eye line. I every time I noticed it, he's looking way above where Picard's image is. There's no information above.
Well,
it's just
all three of them are actually. None of the eye lines are right.
Yeah, but Raffy's is at least better.
Yeah.
And Agnes is so far back that it doesn't really matter because she's got a wider view of things.
But if you look, you can tell they don't actually know they're looking. They weren't given like an X. No, I agree. Whereas if they just had the panel, they could look down, looked at it. I mean, at least Discovery had real panels, which was cool, but also impractical. And again, the budget's just being spent on these holograms that don't add much. You know? Because they could have had like a screen that rolls up and then holograms. It's really a practical effect.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. But yes, they've been made. Didn't take long either, which I like, actually. And the guy is probably on the way. Dum dum dum.
So they message him, and he's like, "I don't care. I need time down here.
Literally, I don't care.
You guys deal with that." She's like, "Well, I'm glad you're safe because we got the guy coming in with the bird of prey." He's like, "Do whatever you have to do. Just I'll be fine."
He's not a happy camper.
Oh, at the extreme sensor range, there's a ship, and I do like the way they throw the holograms on the view screen. That is kind of neat.
It's very Minority Report.
But yeah, there it is.
Sci-fi, but yes.
Yeah, it is very much that. Absolutely. Very Tony Stark.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not very creative. It's just, yeah. But yeah, that's a cool zoom for sure. Antique bird of prey, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, at the end.
Yes. So then he's talking to the lady, and she's like, half the sisters serve as Qualican Freeblades patrolling roads and waterways, helping travelers, defending Romulans and Terrans alike. And then again, do the Quat Malat still bind their blades to a singular cause, if it's just worthy. And I said this in my review last night, my first reaction thing. It's like, how many times does he ask this question? Because it's repeated dialogue over and over and over again. Do you bind your blade? Do you still bind your blade? What does it take to bind the blade? It's like, shut the hell up about the binding of the blade. We get it. Once or twice is all you need.
Yeah, like I said, they only have a certain amount of content, and they can't push it much further.
Yeah. Big chap puts in 2 pounds. Eagle Moss passed on this. On what?
Don't know.
I don't know. Howrats 96, $5. I wouldn't mind the holograms as much if they looked more Elcars. I agree.
That's actually true. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is not a Federation ship, but I can see him reinstalling like Federation Elcars 1.6. Like you could even argue this ship has an older actual Starfleet Elcars because all he could get was a 35-year-old Voyager style because he wants Starfleet regulation, but he can't get the new style. That you could argue, you know.
Yep. That's where Picard's like, well, the lady says, you feel shame seeing Eleanor. Picard's like, I always imagined you had found a suitable place for him. So, to which she responds, so many things we imagined back then never came to be. But it's not just Eleanor, it's everything here. The poverty, the degradation, the ethnic strife. When I left here, I allowed the perfect to become the enemy of the good. You have not spoken of your purpose yet. Yeah, and then so I was just talking about how he's talking to her about the ethnic strife and the poverty, the degradation that's there, and how he always thought they found a home for Eleanor.
Yep.
So he feels guilt or whatever. And then they go on. They go on to say, you know, so is he really Kawat Malat? And she,
what?
No, as a man, he can never be Kawat Malat.
Yes.
So
it's very logical.
Michael,
I quite like the logical dialogue here and the sad, but you know, it's just he can't find his way here. Yeah.
Michael Elliott puts in $10, so thank you.
Wow. Dude, you're winning super chat so far. It's awesome.
Stop yelling and cursing at a retired admiral.
Well, he signed on for this. Yeah, I was going to say something I already forgot.
This is where Eleanor offers us some bread, and he's like, no, not Eleanor. And he throws it down, walks out, and they have this conversation about how because he's not a female, he can't be one of these trained assassins, even though he is fully trained. And then she's like, Picard's like, he'll be in danger. He could die. She's like, yes, he will die. But it would gladden my heart to see him live beforehand, like get off this planet and get away from here.
And I think they also say, didn't they say it's like it's better to die in honourable service rather than randomly here? Or at least that's sort of implied.
Yeah, it's sort of implied.
Yeah, but I just remembered what I was going to say. So you mentioned a minute ago about how the planet's doing bad with poverty and such. With one replicator, you can feed an entire town. And you would think that Starfleet who was doing refugees would bring replicators. I don't quite understand how poverty re-exists in the future when you know what I mean. There should be a replicator bar, and you can have replicators on all day, every day. I don't understand. I mean, yes, fine. Some the rich people they aren't rich though. The more powerful people that have guns are keep replicators themselves. Fine, but guess what? These are the best assassins of the thing. They would say, well, that's injustice. They would steal them back. I mean, I don't understand the idea of poverty. No one needs to pay for anything actively because you have replicators. There aren't farms or things we can see. It feels disingenuous to understand the universe that we are past this. Basic needs are met, and if they're in the Romulan Empire, it's a little bit different, but again, they have had replica take longer than we have probably. If in Federation space, then they would easily have access to that stuff. So it doesn't connect to me, you know. And they have a defense shield, which means they have enough power to fund a shield. So they have power to do replicators. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if the central, because I mentioned the central command post, if they have shield generators there, they have replicators, and why aren't they just making loaves of bread every day and then just beaming them to places? It just feels distant. They don't understand the world enough. They want to make it darker than it actually could be. Even refugees, like, that's not, you know what I mean? Like, a refugee, as long as you have 3D files, you could so say you lose your home in Romulus. In 15 years, you can replicate all of your possessions again and build a replica of your own room with all your possessions back. It's the future, you know what I mean? So I don't buy these situations as much as they want us to buy. They're just a bit disingenuous. But yes, Eleanor.
David Bessick puts in $10. My thoughts on the poverty part. These are Romulans. They may not have had a no money society in the Empire, and maybe they just can't adjust to the post-scarcity economy. Yeah, I would totally buy that.
What is post-scarcity? I mean, again, only one planet got destroyed. Every other place, again, just one replicator would be enough to solve this issue, and I'm sure the Federation brought several. You know, what's the point in bringing refugees if you're not giving a replicator? You know, it's just yeah.
Stephen Alvarez, $5, Australian. Picard was hoping he'd pick up a Bene Gesserit, but had to settle for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Romulan.
Yeah.
I don't know who Bene Gesserit is, but
yeah,
okay. So yeah, he basically he asks Eleanor what's involved with this binding of the blade again. Do I have to get on my knees? That's just between you and I hope not. My knees aren't what they used to be, which I thought was funny for the old man talk. He's like, no, you just tell me your story, and I listen, and if it's worthy, I'll accept it. So he tells about Data, and he's like, oh yeah, she told me stories of Data. He had an orange cat named Spot. And I've never seen a cat. If you come with us, you might see a few.
It's cute enough.
It's all right.
It's cute enough.
But anyway, so then it's like at the end, he's like, okay, so I understand that all those reasons, that's why you need someone, but why do you need me? And then he says, well, because you're younger, you're stronger, whatever. And he's like, well, you turned your back on me once, so I feel like I should do the same. And he walks away.
And we know that they are the speaking their mind people. So when he says that, he means that without any sort of subtext.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the problems I have with this episode. This is still a reasonably good episode up to this point, apart from the Borg scene. It kind of starts to fall down from now on, I think, because he's quite final here in his vibe of, like, we know he's going to join him. That's just the story, but there's no hint of anything else. And Picard leaves, so he's given up. There's no, he just changes his mind because plot. You needed a scene of Eleanor talking to the lady saying, but why should I go with him? Because he wanted you. But why? Because he knew you were the one that could truly... Like, you needed one sentence between these two characters to say, oh no, he did want me. Of all people in the galaxy, he came here to get people, and he picked me out of the pool of people. They needed that moment. You said it could have been deleted scene for something else, but they're sorely missing that moment.
I agree with that, and I do think too. Like, it's interesting because he went to this planet expecting him not to be there.
Yes,
that they had found Eleanor at home, so he wasn't going for him specifically,
which is good.
He just wanted one of the nuns. So it was just a nice tie-in. So I think that was well handled.
Yes, smarter than we thought it was going to.
Yeah,
and in fact, him choosing to take this guy is so. The way they set up the scene is so good that if I bring him, he'll fit better. He'll have his own life. He can come back victorious, and maybe even the honour of succeeding will get him a position in the hierarchy who doesn't need to be not a girl. It's very natural, and I like the way they played this better than I think either of us thought we were going to like. I think we both agree that he was hands down levels above where we thought he was going to be.
Yeah, the character of Eleanor, I'm enjoying his character a lot better than I thought I would. So
he has a ton of potential. The cast here, again, the cast is the best thing about Picard. Not the story, not the sets, the cast. And that is a good thing to have.
And Eugene throws in 250 rubles and says, wait, you haven't seen Dune, have you? I mean, I've watched Dune a few times. It's boring as hell.
Yeah, I
So I've
started
just
watching
tuned
it when
out.
I was 15. I managed to get about 15, 20 minutes in.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it over the years. So I've seen the whole movie at some point, just not all in one sitting. It just doesn't interest me. It's boring as hell. But I love Picard in it.
We can watch Dune.
No, it's okay.
I have the Blu-ray special edition.
Because I don't mind. Oh, that's funny. Because I don't mind slow things. Like Mandalorian was slow, but it was good slow, right? Fair to say. You and me both aren't 2001 big fans. There are just some sci-fi that we just aren't necessarily. We know they are good.
See,
Doesn't mean we like them as much as other people.
I love 2001, but it needs to be edited down. There's too much world building, too much bullshit, just silence.
But
Building
the
world,
good?
and same with Blade Runner. I know
Yep.
exactly. I hate that kind of storytelling. A lot of people are really into it. I absolutely hate it. I can't stand it. Just get on with it already.
Or at least
I get it.
Or at
It's
least,
not like I'm reading a goddamn novel, because that's how they film those movies. Like they're
Yeah.
describing everything, but just in a slow pass. So it's a movie.
or at least go to the edge of that scalpel, the absolute edge where it's too slow. You know?
Yeah. See, Avenue Pad says 2001 is amazing. It is. There's a lot of great elements in it. It should be edited down for me to watch. But I think 2010 is a better movie because it's faster paced and it's more exciting.
Is 2001 fun to watch?
It's not fun to watch.
It's not fun to watch. You know, Blade Runner. I think the second one is more enjoyable. It's a lot more story. I think it's more focused as well. The first one's good for world, but nothing like not a lot happens. It's very low impact to high length of time sort of film. But anyway, so slow is not bad, but
yeah,
can be.
So he's turned him down. Picard messages the ship ready for transport, and Rios is like, okay, another 7 minutes till the window opens up. So Picard says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit down in a Romulans only bar after ripping the sign down and stepping on it, even though I throw it down with the words down, face down, and then the next scene it's face up, and I got to walk over them. You have in 7 minutes, you think it's a good idea to go sit at a bar and get a drink. I would just lean against the wall, personally. Like, what are you doing?
And not just that, but disrespect everyone here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll let you give your thoughts on this entire bit because I have distinct thoughts on, as you know, this entire bit.
I think it's stupid. I mean, if he had said 17 minutes, I'd be like, okay, fine. I think this was not filmed to be this way. It was just the way it was edited. It didn't make any sense. And I understand he's upset with the situation and the Romulans only thing, but to have no weapon, no backup, as you said, and I know you will say again, he was an admiral. He understands respect and pushing those limits. So this just seems entirely stupid, unless, as you suggested earlier, which we'll probably get into, that he's doing it because he knows that Eleanor is following him and keeping an eye on him. I'll shut up now.
No, it's funny because when we filmed our first review, I didn't mean that. And rewatching it, I got what you thought I meant. I was like, oh, I didn't mean that at all. So when you disagreed with me, I was like, why do you disagree with me? But I didn't mean that at all. But that's interesting. I don't think he is. I don't think he's trying to be the damsel in distress. I don't think that's realistic, but I didn't know that's what you thought I meant earlier today. I had no idea. I didn't mean that at all. Yeah. Now this for me is where the episode takes a massive dive, like just an absolute off the cliff. This is not Picard. This is not Jean-Luc Picard playing this part. It's hard to think that Frakes liked the scene, approved the scene, like knowing Picard, because what this is Jean-Luc Picard, completely unarmed, according to hostile territory, feeling the tension in the air, ripping down a thing, being offensive to everybody, walking in and challenging everyone, saying, "What are you gonna do? I'm making a stand against your racism. What are you gonna do?" And he's surprised someone calls him on it. He's like, so I think he's lashing out. This is the only way I can say it. He's lashing out and he wants a fight. He wants to tell these people, you guys are wrong. Problem is, unarmed, no plan, 7 minutes, and he feels so stupid doing it. It's so out of character, and it's just him picking a fight. What else do you think is going to happen? What it should have been, as I said to you earlier, was he leans on the you know, because the praetor, the senator's just sitting down right on the edge of the signage. He leans on the sign. He looks down, says, you know, this is not a good thing. You guys should be more, you know, you guys, we try to help you. Start a dialogue out of the bar. The guy stand up and say, or he says, you know, I recognize you. Weren't you a senator? Yes, I was, and now I'm this. Like, start in that. He was trying to communicate with them rather than making this epic stand. Now, I guess you could argue it's kind of the lady on the bus, Doctor Who just did an episode on Rosa Parks. But these are angry people with weapons that will kill you. Those are white people that might put you in jail for a night.
But you also have a scheduled transport in 7 minutes. So you're like,
There's nothing to gain here. It's an absolute terrible scene. It's so out of character. And if I was doing my re-edit the entire season, just wouldn't include this. This is just to allow him to be in a situation where Eleanor can save him. That's it. Yeah. That's the only reason. And
to show off his fighting skills, and then he throws the sword away like he's too old to do this, or he's unwilling to fight.
Well, I preferred that to him fighting, though. Him saying,
I do too. Yeah. That's Picard for sure.
Yeah.
Now,
what do you guys think? I mean, I'm quite strong on this scene. I really don't like it at all. Guys, am I right or wrong here? Because I really do not like this scene. It summarizes everything wrong about this episode. I want to know what you guys think. But the guy's great.
I love the senator. I love the senator. I love his character. I love the actor. And you notice there's a sign behind them on the building that says "No Romulans."
Yeah.
At least I think that's what it says. Anyway. So what do you guys think? It was poorly constructed. The scene was off. Bad setup. Blame it on aromatic syndrome. The scene is silly. Yeah. Rosa Parks was in more danger than you credit her for. Absolutely, she was.
Oh, and yeah, the guy's speech was awesome. It was a really good speech. Like, it's just how you got to the speech was out of character. The dialogue was good. You know, the idea... Although things, we've already heard this before. We know this vibe. There's nothing new learned here.
Yeah.
He should recognize him for being a senator, because that fall from grace is really good. That's really interesting, and it's not given any real energy.
Mortimus Maximus has asked us a few times now. What does Eleanor's lack of emotion after beheading a fellow Romulan imply? Has he killed people before? No, but he's been trained to be an assassin and not have that kind of emotion, especially because he gave the guy a choice. So the guy made the wrong choice. And yes, number one sci-fi. Don't worry, I'll point it out when it comes up. There's an interesting briefcase guy.
And also, Travis Orban says, why does the Romulan senator have a sword, though? Well, as we learned last episode, Romulan guns don't have stun. Yeah. So actually, there's some logic to it, because I can stab you and not murder you, or I kill you. So actually, that makes some level of sense.
It's because they were filming Lord of the Rings, Dungeons and Dragons, and Pirates of the Caribbean, and they just called in extras. Jadzia throws in $5.
Thank you.
I like Samuel's version better. It's like Picard was demanding respect for what he tried and failed to do. Truth is, Picard got the guy killed.
Yep.
That's why he's pissed off. Yeah, absolutely. He knows that.
No, well, yeah. If he'd just not walked in the bar, wouldn't have been killed. 100% Picard's fault.
Yep.
He knew that was going to happen. It's really terrible. It really is terrible. But yes, then you have this mini fight, like you say. He throws it down. Eleanor just appears. How does he know Picard's there? Oh. Don't know. Why has he changed his mind? Don't know.
Hold on. Hold on. No. Go back to the scene of Picard. I want to...
Sure.
Let's see if I can find the picture here so I can give you the number.
Okie dokie. Oh, briefcase, yeah.
Oh, did you see it?
The silver and black one?
Yeah. Zoom in. It's like a modern day. It looks like, and it's not even a Romulan. He doesn't even have Romulan ears. It looks like a crew member that's carrying like an equipment case. Even though, I don't know, it just looks out of place. He doesn't have Romulan ears, which is really weird.
I think he's got forehead though. I think he's got a ridge. There's a little ridge on the shot I've got.
Well, there's a few shots of him. Some are better than others. Let's see. Where's a good one here? Anyway, let's see, the one that ends with right as the decapitation happens before the head falls off, or as the head falls off.
Spoilers, jeez.
Well, Eleanor comes out of the blue, says, choose wisely, he's protected by me, and then cuts his head off. There you go. Spoilers. There you go.
Briefcase, yep. Yeah, he's missing ridges there for sure.
It's just fucking weird.
Yes.
Eugene, 250 rubles. That was an absolute shit show of a fight. 6 camera cuts in 5 seconds, so you kind of forget previous scene.
Yeah. But I really liked Eleanor's "Do not choose to die."
Yeah.
It's clinical. It's honest. He doesn't want to. I think that's a really great line. It tells you everything you need to know about his approach. It's like, I am better trained than you. Your choice. You know,
Yeah.
It's almost like, do you choose to be offended by what I say? If you do, that's a shame.
You got to think too. The Romulan senator guy is like, oh, you can't be you can't have a Kuala Khan because you're not a female, so you're not going to kill me. So F you, bud. But
yeah, no, yeah. And his jump is a bit daft, but not as daft as Soji's. It's that borderline. I can buy his physiology, and he's that well trained. It's very Matrixy, and the slice, it's very Resident Evil. It's fine to me because it tells you that the blade is so clinical that there's no pain. It's just, it's just effective, and also I'm sure very good against like metal. That's a functional weapon, because this is what you said earlier, and I actually love this point that the reason he has a sword, except they have swords, but the reason he has a sword is because Three Musketeers, he really took that to heart. That's a lovely little sub-reason.
Well, and I say that in another review because the other ones, there's a rack on the wall in the nunnery that has bow staff in it, just bow staffs. So it's like that's their normal weapon, and he chose a sword because of the Three Musketeers thing. Yep. And even when he beams aboard the ship, Raffy says, "Oh, good, a boy with a stick." Instead of a sword. So it's like sticks are their regular weapon of choice. E. Paris puts in $2. Do you guys consider this canon or not, like Disco? It's riding a fine line. I like to consider this in the Disco verse. So this is an evolution from Discovery, but it's one of the many parallel.
Well, there's that whole theory that when the Enterprise E in the original timeline went back in time and saved Cochrane and changed the timeline, that then caused the NX-01 to exist as it was because of how they changed time. The NX-01 tech then evolves into Discovery tech, which then evolves into this, and that's why everything jumps. So you could argue that from a pure canon perspective. I obviously take this as literal canon, which means you can judge it for how stupid Discovery shuttles are and such, and some hologram tech and whatever. I mean, it has to be canon until they retcon it out. You know, Discovery Season 1, well, they got Season 2, already retconned out their own D7, and, retconned out L'Orel's massive head to make it a normal head. Like, they are retconning their own stuff. Like, the Warp Effect from Shinjo to Discovery, retcon. Like, they are retconning their own stuff because they keep changing the ideas. And so I hope in 10 years they'll retcon Discovery out from canon completely, and Picard, who the hell knows what they're going to do with it. But it's certainly more canon, but it's because they're forging ahead. It's just not the best story they could have given us, not the best character representations, and by God we hope that when we get to the final, payoff is good.
And we do get a name for the sword. Picard makes this big speech about, I failed you, and result. Yes. Because hold on. After Picard's speech of "I failed you" and the result was pain and suffering for everybody and blah blah blah, then the one guard says, "A tan Qualang is no match for a disruptor, sister boy," and he pulls his disruptor, and that's when Raffy's like, "JL, transport now?" He's like, "Yes," but the problem is both him and Eleanor transport. He never once asked for 2 transports. So how did she know to lock on to him specifically, considering there's a group of people around? It could have been the guy that was about to kill him. Let's beam him aboard, too. Sure, why not? Unless she was monitoring what was going on through his comm badge, but...
There's never been a thing before. No, it's another classic. We didn't get to a 4th draft. This season of Picard is showing us that they are squandering some of the potential they have. They've learned lessons from Discovery Season 1, which learned in Season 2. This is learned from Season 2, but it's still a little bit lazy. It's still not as coherent. It's still not as well paced. It's still not as good lines as it could be. And that simple line, there's a few little things. Like, they have not dotted any of the I's or crossed the T's. They're just sort of going from scene to scene. But that said... Him calling out Eleanor's great.
Yeah. I think I missed a super chat, actually. Fleet Pass Swift back to 099. Guy next to the suitcase guy looks human. Yes.
Yeah, he did a bit.
They both look human. Hellrats 96, $5. How come their swords don't fold out like Sulu's in 2009? Because that was insanely stupid.
That's why I wasn't in it. Also, 312 people watching.
Wow.
But only 195 likes. That, to me, is shocking. I want to see at least 210 likes in the next few seconds.
210, 250. Come on. Let's challenge a little bit. 250.
But can you guys do it? I mean, he thinks you can. Prove... Oh, God. Manosfen says, emergency sword fighting hologram.
Yeah, I saw that.
I love that. Yes, please. I mean, they're gonna ride that train, the holograms, as long as they can.
Mm-hmm.
And that actor is delivering. Is genuinely delivering.
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine when they hired him, that they actually, like, prepped and was like, yes, he can do 9 to 12 different, accents and things. That's really fun.
So, yeah, they beam him up, both of them, which is kind of contrived a little bit. But then Picard immediately chastises him and said, that man did not deserve to die.
Yep.
And he's like, but I gave him a choice, and the outcome was not in doubt. Like, he knows what the words meant. He chose to continue. Picard's like, I will not benefit by your skill and courage. I will benefit by your skill and courage, but if you bind yourself to my cause, I will tell you when to fight and when to refrain. Is that understood? He says, yes. And he says, swear it. I swear. So that was great. I love how he just chastised him right away. Again, he was 100% responsible for that guy's death, not Eleanor at all.
Nope. But this is a Picard moment. He goes from being not Picard to Picard very quickly. Although, I kind of felt is a little bit harsh because this guy, they don't explicitly say once you commit, you're committed to the end. That wasn't quite said. So Eleanor might be like, excuse me, I just volunteered to be a suicide guy for you. Don't, like, that's your fault, mate. He takes it like he takes it. Like, Picard now suddenly feels the authority that Eleanor's given him when he doesn't really deserve to be that bitchy to him. He just gave up his freedom for this. You know? Mm-hmm. It was a little bit hard for what it was. But it was Picard being Picard. So
Garrick001 puts in €229. I wonder if Rios is also a hologram, an ECH. I said that last night in my first reaction review as well.
ECH. Oh, yeah.
That might be kind of cool. And I'm like, we haven't seen him leave the ship yet. And everybody points out, well, the next episode he leaves the ship. And I'm like, yeah, but he could have a holographic mobile emitter. And we've talked about this before, too, that the reason all the other holograms are him, different facets of his personality, it seems, could be because he is actually dead and downloaded his consciousness into a holographic matrix. Because, he refers to his captain's bloods and brain being all over the bulkhead. So who knows what happened in that case? He might have died as well, just had a chance to... I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out at the end that he is a hologram.
Yeah. And just a side note here. Look, Raka Disruptors and tech. That's going to be the armory rack, I guess.
Oh, nice.
I just thought lots of different guns, which I'm looking forward to seeing.
Fleet Boss put back at $1.99. 215 likes. Thanks for the hashtag like spike. Yeehaw.
Excellent.
For some reason, but Hellrats 96, $5. Hey. Couldn't they have holographic blades on their swords with safeties off?
No.
Then it's too lightsabery.
And what would be the point? Just make a real blade.
Yeah.
Just replicate a real blade. Come on, it's easier. No power needed, apart from the replication bit. Although, credit to the subtle transporter pad control unit that she's using. I just wish they didn't keep beaming to any portion of the bridge. It's like either settle on we beam to the pad or we beam anywhere. Otherwise, there's no point beaming to the pad. Like, it devalues... Because otherwise it would have been great to see a beep. Like, stop giving us both, please. I know you can do both, but why bother? You know? Why bother? It doesn't add anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So here we find out that he decided to join him because he met the requirements of worthiness, and it seemed like you needed me after all. And then Agnes is like, well, what's the requirements of worthiness? The Qualikai would only bind herself or himself to a lost cause. And it's like, oh, shit. That was classic. It's like, oh, all right, cool.
I like the dialogue in principle, and it comes across great. Problem is, that means that almost every person that accepts it expects to die, and then you can kind of assume that 1 out of every 10 don't die. And I made a joke that if this guy comes back, or if someone else comes back, they become one of the elders because successfully achieved one of their missions. It's like, only 1 out of every 10 come back, there is to become an elder. You're only 33? Yep. Nope, you did the mission. You're an elder now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the group will die very quickly if that's the case. Like, it takes quite a long time to train. Like, he only finishes training after 14 years minimum. You can't just create these overnight. And we didn't see like a group of 12 girls being taught. We didn't need to, but you know what I mean. You didn't get a sense of this massive monastery. It was just refugees in a house.
So Jadzia throws in $2. That would be too close to Mass Effect Omniblade.
Yes, it would be. And now we get another incest vibe scene.
Oh, good God.
Combined...
I forgot about this scene.
Oh, it's mega forgettable. Combined with, he's Tal Shiar in a secret place, and he doesn't wake up while he's caressing her. I was expecting an instant, grab sort of reaction. Sorry, what's with super secret Vash agents where he doesn't even notice that he's being caressed by somebody?
Yeah.
That felt weird to me. It should have been this cool moment. It really wasn't.
He just wakes up to his light. Or lights. But I take it she's anatomically correct. Well, makes sense. You've been studying her kind your whole adult life, waiting for her.
That was interesting. I like that.
I get the feeling he's Zot Vash, definitely not Tal Shiar.
Well, we knew that. I mean, we did know that.
Well.
But he's curious more than hateful.
Yeah, well, and he asks her what happened to the cube assimilated by the Shainar. Why did its crew and passengers lose their minds? Who were they? It's going to be important.
Yep.
And she said, well, what have you accomplished on my behalf?
Yeah.
You know, why should I give you information when you're failing in your mission? And then he says, I planted a seed of doubt today. He's like, oh, really? 1 seed. That's great. He's like, well, if I press, I know her. If I press her too hard, it might activate her. And then we'll have another situation like on Earth.
Oh!
And they'll both be dead.
Yeah.
Well, that is the goal, you know? Yes, but we want all of them dead, which is something I cannot do until we find out where she came from and where the rest of them are. So we don't even know how many of them there are at this point, but according to their research and their information, there's a shit ton of them because they referred to it as a nest earlier. But anyway, then she says, are you sure she's not manipulating you? She was sent to this. This is also interesting. She was sent to this cube for a reason. Your little robot girl has a plan.
I've been calling that. I've been saying that. People keep forgetting it.
Yep. So I'm going to give you another week. And if, that doesn't work, then we're going to go back to pain and violence, she says.
Benjamin 0119 says, maybe AI pointed out the issues of incest. So that's why Jacques Vast hates them.
Yeah. The illogicness of incest.
See, this scene was so forgettable, but as soon as you say that, I remembered liking it so much. The dialogue is good because it's world building, it's interesting, and they're still creepy together. The vibe is very odd here. It's almost as if these actors dated and they happen to get cast, and that sexual tension's coming through. Do you know what I mean? It's weird. But yeah, there's some good dialogue there, and I kind of buy Narek's. Well, I'm still gonna kill them all. They all have to die, but he's definitely saying it because it's the company line, but he definitely doesn't believe it in the abstract. Well, he believes it in the abstract, but not in the personal. And I kind of like the idea that he's curious over everything else. He wants to learn about these things. That's why they exist, is to kill and learn about these things. So now he's finally found one. That's something he doesn't want to give up. Plus, he likes things.
Yeah, I think they're making this into the whole he ends up loving her and then is going to have second doubts at the last minute. It's like, no, stop.
Well, I hope that once they reach that point, it'll be revealed that he was playing her the entire time. I hope that's the plot until he gets to the nest, and then he's like, "Just kidding, pew pew." That would be the best way of doing it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Justin Hampton puts in $5. Bill and Ted, the two human case is a time machine. LOL. Liked since the young Romulan boy showed different, but good Picard loved that. What? Bill and Ted, the two humans. Case is time machine. LOL. Liked since scene, I think, with young Romulan boy showed different, but good Picard loved that one, and Seven's ship nice.
Thanks, Justin.
Andrew Reynolds, $2. Romulan intentions, anyone? Yeah, I compared it to Cruel Intentions before. It's definitely a weird, creepy vibe, for sure.
Oh, and yeah, Epic Beard. And some people pointed out previously, I don't think they are blood brother and sister, just maybe married through marriage and such, which is fine.
Oh, and then the stupidest thing is where she chokes him. It's like such a feeble choke. And he like acts it up like, oh. What is she? Samchineb, the Destroyer. It's like, for fuck off. No.
You can tell this woman is generally not a strong woman, that she is a petite, she has no physical strength. Like, you can feel it. But the worst part, yes, I agree, but the worst part is that she chokes him first of all, right? Then he's doing this, then she lets go for a second while he's still going, and then she puts it back on quickly. Like she literally loses her grip. It was a bad take, and they kept it in. It is awkward, and it's like he's telling her because he wants to, not because he feels obliged to. It doesn't. Yeah, it's a daft moment that doesn't play right.
and Justin Hampton says, "Sorry, Trekyards, drinking a little. No problem. Don't worry about it." Hellrats 96, $5. So is it just me, or does it seem there's a lot of foreshadowing tying into Disco with Control and the end of everything? Don't bring Control into this, please.
Potentially.
But yes, I can see them doing it.
Do you know what I hope, though? I was hoping that we were going to get her scenes, like her walking through the cube doing something else. Because if she's just there to monitor him and pop up every couple of scenes to choke him, it's not very interesting. You know? It doesn't do her any justice. Again, the time spent on each character is completely out of whack in this season. You know? There's too many things going on, and things that should be given time in certain ways aren't. Things that shouldn't be given too much time are being slammed. You know, I really seriously, I want to do like a fundraiser. Can I get enough money to do a fan edit of this season and make it into a much more like polished piece? And what can I remove? What can I whatever? I don't know if you ever saw Stuart the Torchwood. Have you ever seen Torchwood, the Doctor Who spin-off?
No.
Well, the last season that got them cancelled because it was really bad was an American co-funded thing called Miracle Day, and it was a 10-episode, when that was kind of unusual. 10 episodes, more movie budget, and it was weekly. And the last season was okay. That season killed the entire franchise because very little happened, very poor motivations, and I hated it beyond belief because it was just awful. So I started editing it down to try and make it a cohesive piece. And I think I got 6 episodes in, and I'd removed about 2.5 hours of content. Like, I just moved entire subplots because they were worthless. I thought this would be a fun exercise for this season as well, to see what can I just remove because it's, or swap around and, yeah.
Jadzia, $5 Canadian. If you switch these two out for Cersei and Jaime, it would fit right in with Game of Thrones. The dynamic is the same, especially her being so controlling. Yep. Sure, I'll take your word for that.
And I wouldn't even be against them being incesty. Like, the principle isn't bad, as long as it pays off. Yeah. Like, who the hell cares? Whatever. You know, Romans.
Yeah. Kevin Tipton says, safe word is the Destroyer. That's hilarious. Look out, Tower Radio puts in £2. Yeah, maybe lost a lot posh Romulan gets assimilated.
Yeah, maybe.
Eugene, gonna send a PayPal. Sorry for the lengthy review in advance. Oh, good God.
That is okay. We'll read it at the end when we do our scores. Maybe try and make it medium, Eugene. Medium. But yes, we'll get to that at the end. Thank you in advance. So just keep that in mind, Stuart. But yes, so there we go. End of scene. And then we get to the end, which is Stuart's favourite bit. But boy, we got through a lot of not good to get to this end. I mean, I said in our review, 14 minutes of the episode, just cut it right out. Just slice it right out. Would have made this piece better.
Yeah.
But in much the modern tropes of sci-fi, the ship's here, 1 second away and then starts firing. There's no like, it's entering weapons range. Okay, raise shields, and then it just fires. It's like that's a very like in the olden days that was a very precise warp jump to do, and it was not really like. But whatever. This scene's rushed. We have to get to the action.
Yeah. So I think it's a great scene. Engaging auto evasion protocol. That old heaps targeting system is primitive, but the planetary security net is what worries me. Just get us the hell out of here. I mean, it's a good scene. Then they say, "Can we outrun it?" Or Agnes says that, and he's like, "Well, we can't outrun it, but we can outfly it."
Yes.
And then he calls for Emmett. I could use a little help. Emmett shows up. He's the emergency tactical hologram, which I love. He looks drunk, and he speaks in Spanish. So he's like, "You fly, I'll shoot." And
he's also more tattooed as well.
Yeah, I just love his character. It's great. But yeah, I mean, it's a great, and I also love the fact that while this battle's going on, Rios is like putting a piece of food in his mouth as he's about to fly. So there's battle going on. He's eating, and then later he's got the cigar in his mouth. So hug the donkey time, says Mark Lawrence.
That's true.
Overall, a great scene. I enjoyed it. The only problem I had was, they're pinning us between them and the security net. It's like, you realize that space is 3D, right?
No, they don't.
You can aim your ship in any goddamn direction and jump to warp. If there was like 5 or 6 ships, then yes, they could pin you in probably. But anywho.
Yeah, whereas I really don't like the space battle. I think the shots look nice, but it's very poorly constructed. They cut to the interior too much to really get a vibe. There's 2 edits in particular where they say do something, and you just cut to a person's face, and it's like, okay, that's not how that edit should go. Okay, also, it's just weird. And why auto evasion? It's like he's a pilot. Why? It doesn't feel. I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me. It's just badly shot. But I said before, when you have a small ship, it's really difficult to make it work because you can't make it feel big, or as the bigger ship will feel bigger, the planet's got to feel big, and so it's got to be the small maneuverable. That means it's hard to focus on, it's hard to see, it can't do beauties in the same way, and we know it can't take on the ship and win because that's the whole point of the battle, they are out-armed. So it's just a whole functionally weird thing. Although the bird prey does look great, and its weapons are great, and its actions are great, it's maneuverable, not too maneuverable. I like that it can start outspeed them. That limits our ship isn't a god ship, there's a new one, it's limited. And yeah, the hologram was great. Pitch perfect, I thought was a lot of fun. Although not that interested in shooting, which was...
I know, right?
It's like,
what happened to the shooting? Yeah.
Like, that's his thing. He doesn't care that much.
Some of the shield hits on the bird of prey were great. You see the shield get hit a few times, so... but yeah, I think it's a fun scene, and then, of course, we get the...
The other ship turning up.
The other ship turns up.
And you don't get any good sense of it at all. It's just it looks like a Breen ship, honestly. Like a Breen Romulan hybrid.
It's so small and so much motion blur, you can't get a good shot of it.
And it's definitely like a one-person fighter. They've come in, they talk about how the flying's amazing. But in reality, what's the plan? I mean, they go on.
I was going to say one of the neatest things about this battle, though, I got to jump in, is that they're rerouting additional power to inertial dampeners and stuff, because as they're doing the maneuvers, they're like flying around. Picard's like, holy shit, the Galaxy class didn't do this. But they're doing such erratic maneuvers that the computer's like rerouting power to inertial dampeners because it's really not having much of an effect. I thought that was kind of a neat touch.
Yeah, well, that's all they have. They have to avoid the hits because they can't take them.
Yeah.
And it was nice that they made one ship feel powerful again. That the single and we definitely, neither of us think it's TOS. It's definitely like TMP or post TMP, maybe Enterprise C era. The ship, antique is quite a broad term. And then because this freighter that they're on is not a warship, it has some weapons obviously, but it's not actually powerful. And so yes, an old ship with newer weapons is totally capable of being an effective threat. We're used to Star Trek where you're in the hero ship, you're in the Defiant or the Voyager, you can take on the world. But average people don't have Mark 11 phases. Maybe he has phases from, early TNG. Maybe as Romulan disruptor, Yeah, so I like that. I like that a lot, actually. The limiting feel.
Cartoon and 154 puts in 2 pounds. No hailing the captain of the Romulan relic. Yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting them to hail and say the ship's hailing. This is Warlord da da da. Surrender now, and we will spare your lives. But your Picard will be our trophy. Like, it just comes in shooting. Like, do they want to kill Picard? What would be the point in that? So again, it's rushed. The scene should have been this more built-up thing. You should have seen a picture of the Warlord. He should have come in. He should have, done this whole thing and given him some impact. And then the other fighter come in, and they say, oh, another ship's incoming warp signature. It just felt very rushed compared to the slowness of the other scenes. It didn't do it justice.
Yeah. I do love when the ship came in, too, and Emmett's like, hideous ship.
Yeah.
But magnificent pilot. That was great. And then they work in tandem. They slice off in the cell.
And it's completely effortlessly. Goes right through shields, no threat.
But
okay.
Well, they've been hacking at the shields for a while. You just see a few shield hits in that area, so I mean, yeah.
Shields are easy. That's the important thing. Shields are easy, and fights don't take long.
Right.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the fact that even though the nacelle gets chopped off, it still gets 3 good shots in, and actually takes out the other ship after it's been disabled.
Also too easy.
Crippled.
The ship comes in, can only take 2 hits and gets destroyed. Why the hell was this thing coming in and fighting if it can't take hits?
Right.
It really... it's another one of those things where it just has to happen. And then you have... Oh, he's going to hit the atmosphere. He's hailing. Quick. Get on board. We need to beam him to the ship. Quick, if we don't beam to the ship, he'll blow up. Yes, he's ready to beam. Yes. Shall we beam him? Yes, beam him. Oh, although we do get the quick Picard line of open the hell. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Your ship.
Sorry. And Rios is like, just open the hailing frequency.
That was perfect. That was actually a really nice moment. That was really good. But yes, beam him aboard, Stuart.
7-9. Picard, he says 7 of 9. She's like, Picard, you owe me a ship. Oh, funk.
7 of 9?
Yes, yeah.
And boy, I knew it was 7 of 9 instantly. It's like, you're not going to put the pretext on the he if you weren't. You wanted to put in our brain it was a he, and therefore twist.
I didn't even notice that the first time, and it was a genuine surprise for me. But Jadzia puts in $5 Canadian. 7. Damn it, Picard! I just paid that thing off. Also, how awesome would it have been if her ship was the Delta Flyer and didn't blow up? That would have been epic.
I mean, that would have been fan service though, because I couldn't really justify why she should have a Delta Flyer. But that would have been fun, but couldn't justify that unless she stole it.
How Rats 96 $2. I hope we get some good 7 of 9 Picard backstory. Yeah.
God, absolutely. And they did say in one of the previous interviews this is their first time they're going to meet. But the way he says 7 of 9 is like, damn, I haven't seen you in such a long time. I really hope that was a red herring. That as soon as he retires, we'll see a flashback, and it's younger 7 of 9, either in uniform or not. Who knows? She'll come to him and say, Picard, I need your help. I need, we need to defend this area. He's like, no, I've given up this life now. I'm giving up. I'm officially giving up. And she's like, you coward, Picard. Don't say that. I'll accept this insult, but no further. Get it? Because, yeah, I mean, she could be the best character on the show or a waste of a character on the show. It's already sad that she's not part of Starfleet, that she had to leave that all behind. That's already sad, but they could. This is a good jumping off point. As rushed as this last scene was to me, jumping right in a 7 of 9 is not wasting time. That's good, because we've wasted quite a lot of time in these first 4, and at least she's here. And I hope she's a regular crew member. I hope she's now part of the official roster. She's definitely the most capable person on this entire ship. She beats them all in terms of technical knowledge and Borg knowledge.
And sexiness.
And knowledge of the area and the politics. I mean, all these people who've been earthbound or doing freighter runs. So she's the most important person in this crew right now. And they can do everything with her or nothing with her. So, hopefully, guys, hopefully.
Polar Apple puts in $2. What the hell was 7 doing in the Beta Quadrant? Well, a lot of Federation space is in the Beta Quadrant as well. And besides she was one of the Rangers. She's one of those Fennec Rangers, apparently. It was in her bio that was released, so
Yeah, they already said that. No, it's easy. That when the signal went out to the Warlord about the Picard was there, remember this shield generator was put up by the Rangers. So someone got the signal that was sent out. Remember in Force Awakens when that lady signals First Order that Han's there? Well, also someone good signals the rebellion that Han's there. So it's just both sides doing it on that planet. And Seven's the closest person to this planet as part of the Rangers, and she warps in. She doesn't bring a big ship because she can't afford to. That's why she has a terrible strategy, non-strategy. I didn't say none of you. It definitely weakens the character of Seven that she basically has a suicide mission without a plan. It shows she's got weak in her old age or middle age. I hope there's something there, because if they hadn't beamed her, she would have died, and that would have been the end of 7 of 9. And it's like, she's better than that. She should have come in with a strategy. She should have come in doing all these possible things. And I said to you, instantly, she has access, I'm sure, to or at least the people on the planet because she helped them. Why didn't she convince them to reroute the planetary defense grid to attack the bird of prey? If they were dogfighting the new hero ship and she warps in and then says, "Follow me, Picard," they both go right close to the shield with some cool CG. You get a really nice sense of both ships, and then the beams start firing and bird of prey follows them, like skimming the edge of the shield grid, and then she says, "Take a left," and they turn, but all the beams hit the thing and destroy bird of prey. Smart, clever, tactical, using the shield grid. Because those beams, Stuart, they're no payoff.
Yeah, that's true.
Why have death beams if you're not going to use them? That's a, but I mean, guys, that was a better idea, I think.
Fleet Pass Swiftback puts it $1.99 and says, "My reaction, holy shit, 7 of 9."
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I have no problem with her being different because she was a child in Voyager. She's now an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is the end of the episode. And then we've got a terrible next time on, which we're going to talk about later, because let's not talk about that now and spoil our fun. End on a strong note of 7 of 9. So yeah, there we go, guys. Now is your chance to give your final scores and speed round super chat. I'd love to get another $30 with the amazing people here. There's so many people watching us right now, over 300 people. So if 6 of you give $5, we are there. That's what I want to see. But Stuart, what is your now full, final, spoiler-filled closing thoughts? And has your opinion changed after discussing it all of today at all, good or bad?
It hasn't changed. Like I said earlier, I enjoyed about 1/3 of this episode.
Can you quantify, just for the audience, which third?
Anything with Rios
Okay.
and Emmett, and the battle. I mean, it might not even be a third. I love the ship battle just because I love ships and I love seeing them. Especially the
bird of prey.
Especially the bird of prey. It was fantastic.
Good, spot on. Should have been. That's how you do a Discovery visual update.
Yeah. But the rest of the episode, like, I don't enjoy Lord of the Rings. I don't enjoy that kind of thing, and that's exactly what it felt like. It felt side questy and just not Star Trek at all to me. So the Borg stuff was boring, and the sliding thing was stupid. Even the scene between the sister and the brother, I just hate it.
But the dialogue ends up being good. It's just weirdly played.
Yeah, but I don't like it. I don't like the dialogue.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I stand with that. That being said, there was
Eleanor. He impressed.
Yes.
He was a bonus.
That's what I was just getting to.
There we go.
Considering that I didn't think I'd like him. You didn't think you'd like Rios when you first met him.
Yep.
Your review changed. Same with mine with Eleanor. I think he's going to be a great character.
Eleanor.
Yeah. So that's my hot take on it. As for ranking it, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Might deserve less, but like the stuff I enjoyed, I really enjoyed. So.
And we'll read some super chats in a. Oh no! So you did So guys, this is now your chance to put super chat reviews, and Stuart will read those out, and I'll give my review, and then we'll do the non-super chat. So Stuart, read out the super chats and see if we can hit that $30.
CJ O'Neill, $10. Great way to start.
Wow, 1/3.
Rios and Space Battle for the win. Exactly. It's a good summation.
I just wish I'd been brought in to make the space battle. I could have done a better job cinematography-wise. And that is not me bragging. I do a lot of space battles. I just wish it was better. Could have been better.
Yeah. Aku puts in £5. In other news, I've started to watch Enterprise. Not properly watched it before. Underrated. Yeah, I went back and rewatched it at one point, and I enjoyed it way more, especially the Xindi story arc.
It's a good season.
Yeah, it is a good season when you finally get into it. But yeah, I tuned out during it the first time, so I felt guilty. But yeah, enjoy it. Let us know your thoughts on it later.
Enterprise is just weak characters and vanilla stories. They're Trek, but they didn't know what they wanted to be first year.
Feels more Trek than Picard.
Certainly does. And the best of Enterprise is pretty damn good, and the characters improve a lot. And season 3 is really good. That is I mean, you can tell that was thought out from start to finish before they started filming.
Yep.
And the actors knew where they were going to go. They knew it all, and it plays like that is how you do a season-wide arc with individual episodes and a full arc. And they also had some pretty good one-offs that were still strong, that were also random. And if that had been 10, it was too much story for 10. That would have been like they should take a Picard season 1 should take a look of Enterprise season 3, how to make a season arc. Except like they didn't give Reed a thing to do like arcs. Like they needed more character arcs, but they gave like T'Pol a really good arc, and they gave a few people some strong stuff, but they always ignored Hoshi and stuff. So that's always what they did. But anyway, this is not an Enterprise review, Stuart.
DX2069, $5. I really love this episode. Just the sliding crap was stupid, and the next episode might be weird though. Love you guys, though, so happy to support in any way. Well, thank you very much.
We love you too, Mr. 2069. And we're almost there at 30, guys. Almost there.
Fleet Pause Swiftback puts in $5. 5.5 out of 10. The good was great. The bad was atrocious. Love the Bird of Prey, Rios, and 7. Not keen on Warrior Nuns. Romulan Mysticism. Weakest episode so far.
Ooh, no, what's that? Ooh.
I would as well, though. I think. I enjoyed episode 2. You really didn't, so.
No, I liked 2. You enjoyed 3. Yeah, 2 was the one with all the.
I enjoyed 2.
Oh, yeah. And stress-free case. They've got to set up a new universe. Give Picard some time. No, we have. They're just not using the time efficiently.
Yeah.
They could have done a lot. Again, look at Enterprise. Look at Babylon 5. You can do stuff cleverer, smarter, better.
Man of Sand says Frakes directed it, so that was a plus. It was, but I didn't get. The only thing I got from Frakes was the Data head nod, the head tilt. That's it. Nothing else felt like a Frakes directed episode.
I think he improved the scenes on the ship with the characters interacting. I think they were better directed, but that's also because the first time they're all together. Nothing on the planet felt anything like Frakes. Didn't feel like he had any creative involvement. The shots weren't interesting. It was his most bland episode for sure. But I do think he managed to get good stuff out of the actors. That I think he did good. And to be fair, the credit to Eleanor's introduction might be Frakes. But then the problem with the fight scene is Frakes as well. And obviously the script.
Yeah, he had to work with what he was given, right? So.
But you can argue for rewrites on the day,
Yeah. Alexander is here, $2 Canadian. Let's go, Captain Foley.
It is your
he was on the live stream I was on earlier today, so I've spoken with him a bit today. So
we did hit 30, but if you want to get another 10 or 20, I'm all for that as I start my review. Hey, I mean, we rely on this, Stuart. We rely on this. Yeah, so for me, this is the most okay episode it's been. Other episodes have had a weaker week and stronger strong. This, for me, apart from the Borg scene, was a whole plethora of medium.
Yeah.
Nothing was particularly good. Nothing was particularly bad. But then it's, I enjoyed it enough, but it again felt like if this was episode 3, that would have helped the season a lot.
If this would have made a perfect episode 3. Absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. 1, getting Picard back into the mindset of being a hero. 2, Starfleet says no and let's get a crew. 3, we've got a crew. Let's go far and wide and build the crew dynamic. Boom, there's the 3. That would have been fine. But as 4, it fails as first 4. And I think Picard is now on a sliding scale of negative quality, I think, overall. I liked episode 2 because it gave you interesting things about the world. Episode 1, it was a lot of strong character stuff. Episode 3 had nothing I enjoyed particularly. Episode 4 was a whole lot of with a terrible fight scene on the bar. Hated it. It's everything that's wrong with the idea of what Picard is now. They don't understand it. That's Frakes directing it. Space Battle, missed opportunity, wasn't well done in my opinion, but that's because I do CG. I see it from a different way. Eleanor, well done. You really took advantage of an interesting idea. You kicked ass, well done. The actor did a good job. You're a blank slate, but you did a good job. The Nun, I liked you. You sold me. Flashback, too long, wasn't efficient enough. And didn't de-age Picard. Should have been in uniform. That was a shame. Should have had more politics world building for that. And the crew stuff was actually pretty good. I liked the crew dynamic. I think we should have had that straight away. The ensemble is helping. Although it's also showing that Picard isn't essential.
Yep.
When he's in these scenes, he's just the guy saying, "What? Huh?" Which was very much like episode 2 or 3, whichever one I didn't like those bits. He's not the most active participant in this narratively. He's kind of the thread everyone's tying to. Oh, and the Chateau stuff, the Shadow set reads was annoying and should have been a different set. So for me, I've got to agree, Stuart, it's a 6. It is better than average overall, but I think this is not my weakest score, but it's my second weakest score because nothing in it's particularly good. I think if you take out 14-15 minutes, it would be a strong episode, but as episode 3, we shouldn't have had another build the crew. We're 40%. We're almost halfway done, and very little main plot has happened. Oh my god, are you kidding?
These first 4 episodes could be turned into a good movie with some editing.
You need a hell of a restructuring. But I think we talked about this before. Leave the Soji reveal to episode 3. Focus on the crew. Don't know where she is. Don't know how she is. Then include Borg stuff in like one big go. They haven't. There's obviously not enough Borg story that they're saving. They're slowly building the Borg stuff and everything else. There isn't that much story they've got in this season. Now they might be doing 3 or 4 year arc. That's fine, but so far there's not a lot of story in Picard, and the character stuff isn't that great. Whereas if you have great story and great characters, you can resell it. So yeah, for me, it's and Eugene says PayPal. If we've got that, we can read that out now. Yep. But yeah, for me, 6. And the Epic Bits is still better than TNG Season 1 so far, in my opinion. Problem is, we went back to Season 1, and the bad are much worse, but the good are better. When the characters are on point, when the stories are more interesting. There's not a lot of amazing in Season 1, but the better is still better than I think this. Because when they capture it, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to read 2 super chats, then get to your PayPal, Eugene. Alexander said $2. 7 to 9 is back. Nothing else matters. Polar Apple, $2. Thoughts on the intense hate for Star Trek Picard? I feel ashamed. I also feel ashamed for the intense hate. It's not necessary.
I mean, this is not one of the best Trek shows, but it's definitely not one of the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, this is yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be, you know.
Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $1.99. Gonna pay on faith for 250. 10 out of 10 for Trekyards. 273 of you still here. We can get to 250. Just please hit the like button while I read Eugene's PayPal.
We already hit it. 252.
Okay, well then keep hitting the like button. If you haven't hit the like button, just hit it.
I want to see 300 likes.
I'm gonna read Eugene's PayPal. Again, 5 out of 10, but very different 5 at that. Very definite. Even Frank's the Almighty cannot fix all the troubles of this show. The good, even more Romulan lore and language development, all scenes on Borg Cube. Not a popular opinion. The reality, I can't watch it as a Star Trek show. The universe is completely different. The heads-up display and controls on the Lost Arena are nowhere near to expected Elcar's, the cornerstone design thing, which is recognizable even in Galaxy Quest. But they are indistinguishable from Mass Effect, Smash Facts ones. The bad. Picard scenes are exposition, part 4 of the pilot. They head across the fine line with Eleanor all the way through Lord of the Rings elves, right into LARP elves. The creepy thought from subconscious. The worst acting comes from Sir Patrick. He doesn't act. He recites the script in such a way it feels like he is playing Patrick Stewart, CIA director, newscaster, and poo emoji at the same time.
Sure.
Wow.
I mean, Patrick, when he's good, he's good. When he's not good, he's not good. Patrick is all over the place in this season.
Yeah.
When he's actually channeling Picard, like with Raffy last episode, where he's in his flashback, he was good. I thought with the kid at the start, he was channeling. But when he's just reacting to people, he's not adding anything to it, unfortunately. That's why you wanted him to be better and heroic and Picardian. You know, we hope we'll get more of that.
Yeah, he's not He's not Picard. He's just playing Patrick Stewart at this point.
Yeah.
You know.
Right, I'll read some non-super chat reviews now. There's a lot of them. Okay, I'm not going to say your names, apologies, but 6, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 4.5 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 7 out of 9, wow, 4 out of 10 for the first 38 minutes, 9 out of 10 for the last 4, okay, 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 9, 7.5, 6, 5, 7, 7. Those are some very varied scores, Stuart. There's no consensus there.
No.
That is all over the place. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, seems to be. Now, there's one thing we forgot to mention.
Oh, okay.
Which, because we're the ship guys, we need to talk about. The great big Wallenberg class transports. One of which was named the Nightingale that brought these people there. So I'd love to see what the Wallen class transports look like up close. If they're the ones we saw in the rescue fleet.
I assume so. They built a billion of them.
But he said the great big transports. Like, it doesn't really seem like... Anyway.
Well, big to a person.
But I would be interested to hear that. So, or see those. So, just wanted to point that out, that we forgot to mention the Wallenberg class.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this was an okay episode at best. But the next episode, and we'll do a predictions on. The next episode looks like the most cringy crap possible, and in terms of we're on a decline. This is the second Frakes episode, and we were excited for his Frakes episodes, and the show's on a decline. So this is not a good. I'm not being reassured by this.
I mean, I'm sure he had fun directing it with the silliness of it, but yeah, I'm kind of not stoked about it.
Honestly, I'm less and less excited for this show. It's proving to be less and less good quality. It's not what we wanted. It's not what we needed. It's not bad, but this is probably one of Patrick's last 30 episodes, and this is what you're giving him. Like, he might have had fun being sad and talking about refugees all the time, but I mean, really, you know what I mean? This is not the show we really needed, but it's not as political as it could have been. We might get to that. I don't think it's over heavily political, and I don't really care either way, but it's definitely not as good as it should have been. I don't know if that's because of reshoots. The characters kind of changed a bit. They changed motivation. I can't tell where those lines are, you know? I don't know. But yeah.
DX2069 says it's going to get better. Cheer up.
Sure. I mean, hopefully 7 will add a certain flair to it. It's my hope. If they use her enough. You know, hopefully next week we'll have 7, we'll have Hugh, we'll have lots of nice canon stuff, you know.
DX2069 says first seasons of shows are almost never good. Of episodic shows where they're trying to throw things at a wall and see what sticks as far as character development storylines go, when it's one overarching story with some already established characters, that's not necessarily the case. So I don't buy that at all, that season 1's just bad because TNG season 1 wasn't great.
And not just that, but it doesn't give you the right to make a bad season. Lost in Space season 1, excellent. Altered Carbon season 1, excellent. Why does every Trek show that they're burning 100 million on, minimum, why do they get one season of bad TV? Are you saying they're allowed to write bad TV? I mean, why? We'll hire better writers. Buck the trend, make a good season. That's a terrible argument. And written in 2019, filmed in 2019. Why are you giving it the, TOS season 1 was a really good season of TV and of Star Trek, and that was made 50 years ago. Why is TOS season 1 better than Picard season 1?
Yeah.
Because whatever, they didn't have, you can't use that argument because lots of other shows are good in season 1. Arrow season 1 is its best season, pretty much. Flash season 1. I mean,
Gattenho665 says, I enjoyed your video about all the plot threads introduced, but it made me realize I have to absolutely adjust my expectations for this season. I think most of those threads will disappoint or just disappear. Yes.
Or season 2 and 3.
If they tie them into that, sure, but
The long game.
yeah.
Well, the fact is, Stuart, we are the only people in history that will have it as a episodic wait a week. Everyone else in human history will watch it as a binge, where they'll just burn through all 4 and not think about it. It's not built to be this sort of TV. It's built to be a binge. And so we'll never notice its slowness again, ever. It's only watching it this way around. And that's a problem. There isn't enough on a week-to-week basis to really get us going. But if you watch all as one big story, you won't notice. You know, although I'm sure the Narek Soji stuff will seem even quicker, because if you're just watching it without any delay, it'll just be like, okay, this took place over 2 days. Why are they so in love? Weird.
Anywho, I think I'm going to call it because I want to get going and get some food.
Yeah, so who wants to be the very final super chat of... Oh, I know, Thribus, Season 1 of Orville was good. Yeah, it was, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer Season 1 Season 2, honestly. It's funnier. It's better balanced for me, personally. Season 2 is more drama than drama comedy, which is what makes Orville unique. Yeah, they managed to give a great Season 1. Not the best first episode, but, you know, some really, really strong episodes. Guys, final super chat. Be the saviour of the super chat. Yeah. And yeah. We will see you over the weekend for videos. And yeah, we've got some already filmed. We've got a really good one on the Romulan Bird of Prey. Lots of nice enhanced renders for that. And you'll see us live next week, during the week, for bits and bobs. We have to work out what we're going to talk about, because there's not that much in this episode. But we'll try. Maybe do a TNG review. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows?
Jadzia, $2 Canadian. Maybe episode 6 will be the turning point.
Yeah. Probably. Unless the Canto bite is going to be only like 20 minutes next episode. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, and Michael, and then we'll go.
Michael Callane puts in $2.99 Australian. Thanks for the live. Thumbs up. Jesus Christ. Thank you for watching the live. Oh my God, I'm dying over here.
All right, guys, have a great everything. We will see you later.
That's right.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye, guys.